Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Good to be with you. Thankful to be with you. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you being with us. Let's have a conversation, shall we? I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. I understand our schedules have been thrown into a state of disrepair, right? Everybody's kind of figuring it out as they go along. So if you missed something, go back and find the show at your earliest convenience. We'll post all 3 hours. It goes up on iTunes as soon as it concludes. It's also on our website. We really do appreciate those of you that are helping others find the show. You do that every time you rate it 5 stars and share and all that good stuff. So we do appreciate that. Still utilizing YouTube. Not the video function, but the audio function for now. So some of you have been able to skirt streaming on your computer or actually listening on your radio by listening on YouTube when you're at work, and you still can. That's a good thing. On Twitter, it's at J Cameron Show. And finally, the WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. So we're in a good place today. Still confused. I'm a little confused about how it's going to get done, but I am becoming more and more of the belief that we're going to see big-time pro football and Major League Baseball. Although Major League Baseball does look like they're about to shoot themselves in the foot. Boy, oh boy, can't get out of their own way here.
It's interesting. We were talking about MLB and the Players Association going to war for different reasons yesterday over the player pool in the minor leagues and obviously compensation moving forward and the next CBA. Well, they've got a problem right in front of them because Tony Clark says, ain't no way we're doing a 50-50 revenue split with MLB based upon these projections that they're looking at without attendance. MLB already came to an agreement, says Tony Clark, about prorated salaries. And so if that means that the billionaires make a little bit less, so be it. Our players are not going to give up another penny. And now they're going to fight in public. Wonderful.
Yeah, not a good look while so many people are suffering, and that is something that certainly could help ease some of it. However slight that suffering is eased by the presence of sports, so be it. It does help. And, it's not something that the public is going to have a lot of sympathy for, watching billionaires argue with multimillionaires over who gets a bigger chunk of the pie there. But especially if everything is in place for some season of some kind, 81 games, whatever it might be, is on the table and agreed upon, and then all of a sudden it's not played because in essence you have either what amounts to a lockout or a strike. Get it together, baseball. It's not as if the world is flocking to your sport to begin with.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think for the most part what baseball is doing is fair, and by that I mean the owner's proposal. But Tony Clark can't allow this to be the open door towards a new CBA reality.
Right.
So he's got to be very careful too. I understand where both sides are coming from. What's interesting here is the conversation and how each national baseball writer or outlet seems to have a very clear set of sources. Jeff Passan's wording of the article yesterday looks like it was written by Rob Manfred and the baseball offices themselves.
Yeah, Rosenthal's article read a little bit differently. There are articles on baseball websites only, like baseball-specific fan interest websites, if you will, that are written very differently as well. Yeah.
Looks like Rosenthal's contacts are much more on the player/union side, and Passan's are much more on the Major League Baseball and ownership side.
As long as they just present what they're told, at least in terms of the way it is viewed from that perspective, and you quote them and you credit them for their comments, then I don't care. I'm a big boy. I can discern what that is, just as you just did.
But what's interesting is yesterday's articles where Passan said, all right, owners are close to agreement towards pushing a proposal at the Players Association. Rosenthal's was, it's a non-starter because it's viewed as a hard cap. Today's was Jeff Passan saying, listen, you're seeing some ugly stuff that makes you think that maybe baseball is not going to play. Don't worry about it. They're going to play.
They're going to play.
So my guess is that's Manfred, the owner, saying, hey, man, we've got a posture. They've got a posture, but this is going to get done. Everybody knows.
Speaking of which, there is constant chatter these days, and we read everything we can get our hands on, partly for this show, but also, I mean, the royal we. We're all reading this, and we want to know what it's going to look like, if it's even possible. What's the timeline? Would there be fans? And that's especially true when we're talking about collegiate athletics, big-time college football. The Pac-12 has discussed an 11-game regular season schedule played solely against other conference opponents in the Pac-12 as one possibility for keeping college football going this year during this pandemic. Clay Helton, the coach there at Southern Cal, that's right, you probably thought to yourself, I thought they fired his sorry ass. True, but they didn't. Confirmed the all-conference idea yesterday as one of the several scenarios being floated out by the Pac-12's coaches and administrators. Quote, it's been discussed in our Pac-12 meetings. It's been discussed by the commissioners on a video conference call. Stanford head coach David Shaw noted that. So did Nick Rolovich, the head coach at Washington State, whom you've never heard of. Pac-12 teams typically play 12 Pac-12 play 12 game schedules with 3 non-conference games. An all-conference schedule would minimize travel for a obviously far-flung conference. You know, the other day I was reading something about how much money, and all of this comes back to money a lot of times. When you're reading these articles about what's at stake and how much money is made by each athletic department, who lost money, who broke even, how much did football play a part of that, and keeping all the other Olympic sports afloat and all that. And it's bad for some teams. There are some teams that turn a profit. We know that number is really small annually, the number of universities and athletic departments that make money at the end of the year after everything comes out in the wash. But you know what I saw? I saw something that made me reflect on the period of time we went through, and we all did on the air, where conference realignment was the big to-do. And should we try to find a way into the SEC? Would the SEC have us? Would the University of Florida bitch and complain and whine like they do about everything over the possibility of Florida State entering that conference?
Well, over 100 years worth of tradition there, whether it's Lake City or Gainesville.
There you go. So I remember when all that was happening, and we thought, well, okay, so that's probably not an option. We'll probably end up, possibly going to the Big 12 or to the Big. I mean, everything was on the table, right? We all kind of laughed at it, and at the time, I thought, and I remember our position was, doesn't seem likely. Doesn't seem real likely that we're going to up and take off, and suddenly the flight plans of all these programs and where it is you have to play if you now are a member of the Big 12. Places like Lubbock, for example, et cetera. And so,
how about West Virginia?
There's where I was going. I just got done reading the article about how much money they lose just trying to travel to play their games, because they did make the leap. They did roll out to the Big 12, and that never made any damn sense. And it's a killer for them now. I mean, they are in real trouble, and they were before all of this. But there you go. That's why you can't just, I understand that at that time you weren't thinking, what if a pandemic hits? Then what do you do?
Yeah, but it makes you wonder if conference realignment might be something that happens in the near term if you're going to reorganize. Specifically in football, if you're going to reorganize as a power sport, right? And what does the economics of the university look like for the next 3 years, 5 years, 20 years with, maybe tuition realities? Maybe they're reset. Maybe the market for tuition is reset. And the revenues for Florida State University and schools like it are just, you're dealing with a very different balance sheet. What does it look like then? So if you get some TV revenue from ESPN for the ACC network, do you really want to spend it on traveling up to Boston and Syracuse? Can you even talk to the league office right now and say, guys, what the hell are we doing here? We're going to send, what's another fall sport that's not one of the big moneymaker sports? The first part of golf, right? Isn't that the first half of trade season? Yeah. We need to fly to Mexico. We need to fly to California. We need to fly to, all these locations for fall tournaments at normal travel costs? Like, can you really do that right now? Or do you need to play against Auburn at their home course and against West Florida at their home course and down in Gainesville and just get on a bus and go? These are huge questions for the conferences.
Well, they're all being talked about. They're all on the table now across sport. We know that. I wonder, just at least in the initial stages here, whether or not the schedule is going to play out, if it does play, if they play at all. Of course, that's all still up in the air. But if they do play, I don't know if it's been agreed upon across the board. But it doesn't seem likely to me that we're going out to Boise anytime soon. And it doesn't seem like we're going to Atlanta to play a neutral site game against West Virginia anytime soon. That seems to be off the table in my mind. Now, I hope I'm wrong about that. I hope that the discussion shifts in the coming weeks to maybe allow for that possibility because advancements are made in terms of testing and things that help mitigate those that do contract the coronavirus. I hold out that hope. I do. But it doesn't seem likely right now. And I was reminded of, again, bigger things in the world than sports to worry about. But I was reminded and saddened by, in this article regarding the Pac-12, for example, Helton went on to say, look, we're looking at a lot of options here, that nothing is going to be finalized anytime soon. But these are all things that are on the table, looking at the various structures and all of it's under discussions. And we're at 6 to 8 weeks from now having to really know what we're going to do and regarding the meetings they were going to have, the ACC meetings, which are probably not going to happen now in Charlotte. But I had forgotten about the games that we'll miss out on early in the season. Again, petty thing to worry about right now, but sports talk show, so here you go. Washington is supposed to host Michigan in the season opener.
Oh, wow.
That's a cool game.
Yeah.
That's a really cool game. That's on September the 5th. 2 days after that, Utah opens up against BYU, as they do every year. Cal's slated to host TCU in its opener, which is kind of a cool contest. And Ohio State is visiting Oregon. Ohio State's going to Oregon a week later. That probably off the table.
A favorite matchup of the NCAA football game because you had quarterbacks that could run around and chuck it down the field in those early video game days.
And we already know that USC is scheduled to face Alabama in the season opener in Arlington, and that doesn't seem likely right now. And I know that it's been suggested by the Alabama folk that they're already talking to TCU about the possibility, if USC can't do it, of taking on TCU instead. Yep. So that's on the table. Also, USC slated to host Notre Dame in November. That's a famous intersectional rivalry, obviously. That's been played, by the way, it's been played every year since World War II. It started back in 1926. You wonder about those games now. And again, you wonder whether any of the games are going to be played. But when you think about some of the historical rivalries that are non-conference and some of the far-flung places that universities have to fly in order to compete in some of these games.
Yeah, I just wonder if it's a serious discussion that maybe it's not a fully formed plan, but at least, step one of talking through it has happened with athletic directors looking at other teams in the region, across all sports. Like, is FSU indoor volleyball really going to fly up and play Syracuse in the fall? Like, we're really going to do that? First of all, it's a massive expense. Second of all, who knows what that state's going to look like? And third,
no, it doesn't seem likely.
Like, with interest, is it really like? And that's where it gets difficult because now you've got Title IX implications about
absolutely
football can travel, but volleyball can't. Well, that's not fair. Well, so how do you deal with that?
Yeah, we've also talked about how to adjust the scholarship distribution, and
right.
That's something that's going to have to be looked at.
Or if you're, David Coburn, do you call up UCF, USF, FAU? Hey, Willie, how's it going? And say, listen, guys, we need to have a contingency here. If the ACC is going to allow us to play a limited schedule of ACC teams in Clemson because they're close enough, Georgia Tech because they're close enough, Miami close enough, but we've got to roll out other options. Are you at the ready to do that? UCF, could maybe you guys not go play UConn? Or they reclassified. But could you not go play Cincinnati or whatever and come up to Tallahassee and let's play a game? We'll give you a return match later down the line.
I'm down for that, buddy.
I would think you'd have to go through all these potential scenarios and have something ready to go.
Yeah, I think that's probably on the table. I think behind the scenes, those kinds of discussions, I know that's been floated out there before because Florida State is slated to play Northeastern teams. Syracuse, you've alluded to, but Boston College, I know is supposed to be played here, but again, same thing for them. Are they traveling down here? There are those games where you go, I don't know if we're going to play West Virginia and Atlanta. I don't know that we're going to go up to Syracuse. Doesn't seem likely. And then is Boston College going to travel down here?
Pitt's coming down to town.
Pitt's coming to town as well, which we discussed. That's a game I really wanted to see. Selfishly, that's a great matchup because their defensive line is going to be one of the best in the country. Now, their quarterback plays whatever, but actually pretty good. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. The offense on the whole is whatever.
I suspect, looking at the way we're ramping up testing, that it's going to be available. and you're going to be able to do routine testing of players. But the question is, how many positive tests does it take before you say no football?
Well,
for just one program. I'm not talking about the sport. I'm talking about, okay, let's say that one guy had it, and the next day you've got 7 players that have it now total on your roster.
It's the biggest discussion around all sports about the return of sports anywhere in the world where they're playing sport. What is the level of concern and emergency that you decide no mas, we can't continue with this plan, and or what can the public stomach? How sick do people have to get? Does somebody have to die? Will you move forward if somebody dies as a result of this?
Well, and here's the thing. You often hear when people are pissed off comparing COVID to the flu. But there's this long narrative in sports, right, where especially if you're in the betting community, if the flu bug is going through a team, right? And maybe they're on IVs all night, man. They're playing, but they got the flu bug, so they're playing through some things right now. So I like the LA Kings minus 1.5 goals, even though they're a terrible team and Pittsburgh's pretty good. Well, half the teams got the flu. They play through that. A lot of players play through that. Yeah. You can't in this situation. There is a fundamental difference between the contagious level of the flu and COVID, such that you can't play through it if your star quarterback's got it. He's got to sit for the safety of the officials, for the safety of the umpire spotting the ball and the coaches.
And his teammates.
Well, of course, but if you're looking at percentages of risk, it's not the same thing as a flu bug going through a team. So how do you deal with that?
One last thing on the segment there that we talk about what the Pac-12 is considering. Just a reminder, they haven't made the playoff in the Pac-12 since, 2016?
Is that UW getting shut out by Bama?
That's correct. Wasn't a great showing.
No, and that's the same day that Clemson beat the brakes off of Ohio State and shut them out, I do believe.
What an ass-kicking that was.
Yeah, that was a bad semifinal year.
Woo! Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hey, you can smoke a with a clip, but there's still no mountain high enough or wide enough to touch the naughty, nappy, nasty, trashy, whole happy pappy. That's happy to be nappy.
Front Row Knowles, featuring Tom Block and Keith Jones, is brought to you by Hobson Chevrolet in Cairo, Georgia. Get your best deal the Hobson way. Catch Front Row Knowles every Wednesday night at 6, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Not all law firms are equal, so here's why Fonville Lewis Mesher McConaughey was recently voted Tallahassee's best law firm. First, we only take real cases. If your car was barely bumped and you think you're going to get rich, we're not the firm for you. We limit our practice to serious cases with legitimate claims. Second, we only take cases involving real injuries. If you know you aren't hurt but think you can fool your way into a quick settlement, we're not the firm for you. We encourage our clients to heal up and get better, not sit on the couch and expect a windfall. Third, we don't want clients who are just in it for the money. If the very first thing you think of after getting hurt is calling pound something or other on your cell phone instead of calling 911, we're not the firm for you. Your health should always come first. And finally, we won't blow smoke about a big money outcome just to get your case. Other firms overpromise and underdeliver. Our only promise is that we'll work harder than anyone to get you the best result. Remember, the law firm you have representing you makes all the difference, so don't settle for less. Call Fonville Lewis Mesher McConaughey and let us put our reputation to work for you.
You've known for a while now that the best place to grab lunch in downtown Tallahassee is Metro Deli. But did you know that Metro Deli is now offering its own online grocery list? That's right. Head to MetroDeliTally.com today to check out all of the best offerings of meats, cheeses, breads, egg salad, tuna salad, signature dishes, and more from your friends at Metro Deli. Metro Deli, more than just a lunch shop, now your corner deli market. Head to MetroDeliTally.com today to support those who support local hospitality workers during the COVID-19 crisis.
Hey guys, how are you? This is Eddie from Gordo's Restaurants and Bumpa's Local 349. I just want to let you guys know that we here in the local community love to have you back. It's 25%, we know, but we're doing the best that we can to serve you and do what we do the way we do it. Same great food, a little bit more space. And we're not the only ones. There's lots of local restaurants out there. Just remember, eat local, drink local, be local. Come see us.
With a Bojangles 3-piece Chicken Supreme snack, you get a plate of bold, boneless chicken and a hot, fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit for just $3.99. Or, if you'd rather 2 pieces of bone-in fried chicken with a biscuit and a fixin', don't you worry, because that's $3.99 too. It's such a good deal, you can knock out dinner and balance your budget in one fell swoop. Because if you're going to take out 2 birds with 1 stone, they ought to be delicious. Bojangles. It's bow time.
Attention Tallahassee, Phase 1 is Phase Patio at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Starting Monday, the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill will be serving up the coldest, crispest refreshments and their signature delicious jumbo wings, all while adhering to responsible social distancing. You know this is the best time of the year to sit on the outdoor patio or deck, so make the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachia Parkway your first and most frequent stop for Phase Patio. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Order takeout today at cptallybar.com. That's cptallybar.com. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Chris Cody and Billy Gill had an interaction where Chris Cody, for some reason, just said, Billy, Cavalieri, Cutler, Splits. And evidently, Billy is very Cavalieri.
Oh, I was very Cavalieri. I was very Jay. I was very... I don't know how much of a fan of Taylor I was. She was okay, but not, it was okay. Listen, I was more of a fan of the show season 1, then season 2 came around, and if I'm going to be honest with you, season 2, a lot of people started getting very Cavalieri, and I was a little less Cavalieri than very Cavalieri. I'd say I was mildly Cavalieri at the time, and I need to catch up to get more Cavalieri, but right now, I'm so Cavalieri, I'd say.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Billy.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello. Here's an interesting article, only because of a couple little tidbits that I can share with you. Adam Rittenberg, ESPN.com, college football writer, amongst other things. Good guy. Had him on the air before. Had him on a Sirius XM show about a year ago. And he's writing a piece about projections. Of course, the NFL draft is over with, looking at players moving forward that look like there'll be players taken early in the 2021 draft. And as he did this, he was examining quarterbacks and outlooks for those quarterbacks, their offenses, as well as defenses, and decided to rank them over the next 3 seasons. Which schools, which teams are going to have top 25 offenses for the next 3 seasons. It's a very COVID-19 era thing to do. We're going to look back, right? We're going to do that. That's going to be a thing. Well, that was during the COVID-19 era. That's true. That was.
Yeah, you can't blame him for that.
No. So the rankings cover the 2020, 2021, and 2022 seasons and consider current rosters, future recruiting, potential NFL departures, non-senior depth, and unit trajectory. Hey, now. Coaching is also a factor. Good idea, Adam. You might go, well, the unit trajectory is very, very good, but it's coached by so-and-so, and I don't expect big things for that unit. That could happen.
Or could have a great coach.
Or it could have a great coach, and you could say, huge progress for that unit. You went with horns, huh?
Could go with something else.
Things are looking up.
So the 2020, 2021, 2022 seasons, considering current rosters, future recruiting, potential NFL departures, non-senior depth, and unit trajectory. Coaching a factor, especially for those who have proven they can lose great players but maintain their production. Don't expect Oklahoma to leave the top 5 for as long as Lincoln Riley is there wearing the OU cap, or visor for that matter. Here you go. So, not surprising. And I didn't tell you this just to do this, but I will comment as to why I brought this up, and it got me excited about Florida State specifically. No, we're not listed in those that project as having a top 25 offense, although I might argue we should be. It's the matter of this offensive line that's got to radically shift production, personnel, consistency. All of that's true, but I do think because a member of this coaching staff is included on the list, we might portend of good things to come. Here you go. Clemson's number 1, 2020 future quarterback ranking number 1. Something about that Trevor Lawrence guy being good and the godforsaken idea that Travis Etienne shooed millions of dollars to return to prove something to nobody for no freaking reason whatsoever. Number 2, Ohio State. Yep, something about that Justin Fields character moving forward. Also, Master Teague is on that team, and so long as Master Teague is on that team, Tom, I think they're going to do good things. I don't even know if he can play, but the man's name is Master Teague.
If not, he'll be a multi-platinum artist.
Oklahoma, number 3 on the list, obvious reasons. Alabama, number 4 on the list, obvious reasons. Number 5, LSU. Now, interesting that that's the projection given no Joe Burrow and or no Joe Brady, both having left the Bayou, going on to the National Football League. But I would call into question that ranking, by the way. I would future offense rank them 15th, Tom. I wouldn't have them future offense in the top 10.
You got to show me you can do it without the Burrow.
I got to know that the Joes weren't the whole reason that LSU had the season of a lifetime that may never be overtaken by any offense moving forward in my lifetime. Because something tells me they were specifically the reason that happened. And that offense will return to mediocrity. I even will note that within the ranking itself, they say there are short-term questions like at quarterback and who the play caller is going to be. Well, that's a major damn deal, Adam.
That's a big deal for unit trajectory.
Without question.
A little flat.
Yeah, that's not a soft circumstance, Tom. That is a major, hard-hitting circumstance that unit's going to have to overcome.
Leaves you feeling like Droopy the dog.
Georgia at number 6. A lot of talent there. My first real objection where I'd like to stand and object and say, no, I just don't see it, is number 7, USC. Coach still the coach. Underwhelming as they are.
That should impact unit trajectory.
Without question.
He said so. That was part of the equation.
He's got Florida at number 8. It reads as follows. Dan Mullen's effect on Florida's outlook, both at quarterback and with the entire offense, has been profound. Former offensive coordinator for 2 Gator National Championship teams, Mullen should soon have his team competing for the college football playoff. Florida gets Kyle Trask back at quarterback for 1 more year before turning over the reins to Emory Jones for 2021. Trask loses his top wideouts in Van Jefferson and Freddie Swain, but regains Mackey Award candidate Kyle Pitts, plus senior Trayvon Grimes, sophomore Jacob Copeland, and a talented group of receivers. Let's see. Not putting him at top 10. Not doing it, Adam. Not buying it. Notre Dame at number 9. No way, no how.
What the hell?
That is dreamland nonsense.
We should be at number 10 if this is what we're doing.
Next 2 are also farcical. Number 9, Notre Dame. Number 10, Penn State. Nope. Stop it. They've recruited well. We'll see. New play caller. Many new members of the offense. Nope.
Shouldn't we have pivoted to just the Big 12 at this point and not run these offenses out there, right?
Well, they do here at 11 with Oklahoma State. who frequently has a very good offense, doesn't stop anybody, and thus doesn't find any significant success moving forward ever. But there you go. Number 12, Texas, to your point, Tom, Tejas. Tom Herman's decision to back away from the offense and hire play caller Mike Yurich from Ohio State and pay him $1.7 million annually likely will shape the coach's tenure in Austin. Yurich, I should say, inherits a good situation with Sam Ehlinger, a promising group of running backs, and an offensive line anchor and left tackle Samuel Cosme. So, good offense there.
That offense has the potential to be top 10.
Yeah.
But, if you're not top 2 or 3 in these days, you're not competing for much of anything. You're just going to be number 8 to number 15 in the country all season long.
Got Oregon at 13 here, and they have to replace Justin Herbert. They noted, though, that they feel very, very good after Oregon made a splash coordinator hire with Moorhead, who was surprisingly available. Moorhead's ability to develop quarterback Tyler Shaw. Don't make the joke. I know it's there for us, given the references we've made so far.
He just impacts unit trajectory, that's all.
Number 14, UCF. All right, fair enough. 15, North Carolina. That hurts us. Sam Howell.
Well, wait, UCF gets disrespected in this list. That's crazy.
I don't
14?
I don't have any respect.
You're talking specifically about offensive production. You're not talking about rankings in
I know
the
Dylan
football
Gabriel
playoff.
threw for over 3,000 yards and 29 touchdowns. I get it. I don't know. I feel like they're about to fall off. Falling off a cliff, Tom.
Really?
They're about to.
Did they get Roper?
I don't know what's going to happen. He's got Jimbo Fisher and Kellen Mond out there. Kellen Mond returning for that final season. Underwhelming last year. He's got Texas A&M at number 16. We shall see. But does project some of the players, the newcomers, the roster fully loaded as being very, very productive. Put Louisville at 17, and the ACC along with North Carolina is now firmly checked in.
Whoa, easy.
See what I did?
Yeah. Louisville.
I know. I agree.
Pump the brakes, Adam.
Offense fueled Louisville's jump in year one under Scott Satterfield, Tom. And his track record suggests more improvements coming, pal.
Is that comma Powell was in there?
I did add that to the equation. So there you go. There's that. Here's where this is the first I vehemently object. Not I object. I vehemently object. Is there any other kind? I object.
Wisconsin?
Minnesota.
Ooh.
The hell up out of here with that nonsense. No. Auburn at 19. No. But here's where it gets interesting. And this is the only reason I brought up the article, but hey, you were able to last this long. Here we go. Memphis. Previously unranked. He did these rankings apparently last year, and I ignored them.
So it's a annual power ranking.
Annual power ranking. And he writes what made me excited about the potential for us to be on this list and soon. Memphis should have been here sooner, and that's my fault. I didn't give them enough credit, and I certainly ignored an offense that since 2017 has ranked 4th nationally in yards per game and 6th nationally in touchdowns scored. You're damn right they did, Adam. Get it together. And who engineered those offenses? Who was the primary play caller during a run of national success and prolific totals? That's right. Mike Norvell was. And he left Memphis. He left Memphis in the dust and came to the great Florida State University, where he will now take that play calling prowess and go to work for the Mighty Noles. Adam, I wrote the piece for you. There it is.
Right, yeah. You're too late to the party, okay? Memphis.
Get on board.
Downward unit trajectory. You gave them the shaft on the unit trajectory last year. It's too late.
Rough night of drinking for Memphis. They're done.
It's too
no chance.
late.
Should have never ordered that second. So he notes that there is a mighty familiar staff still there.
Indeed.
This is amazing. It's like we're talking about golf clubs. It's out of control. But anyhow, that's the only thing I got excited about was just, wait a minute now.
You said North Carolina was on that list, right?
Yeah, I did.
They belong on that list.
Yes,
that
because
kid looks
Sam
good.
Howell doesn't suck.
I know it. We're better off not getting him, though, because we would still be quite disorganized in the time of COVID if we did get him.
Hell, Appalachian State's on this list. So is Mississippi State.
Mississippi State?
Not seeing it. Wisconsin did make the list as well, and you know I'm going to shake my head at that. Michigan's on this list. Get the hell out.
Well, he hung with Barry knows school. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows school. You can put him to the test.
Your home has been a place of great comfort. We can help you keep it that way. Barano Heating and Air is helping you get ready for summer with $1,500 off select new units, 0% financing for qualified buyers, plus worry-free maintenance plans. Learn more or schedule online at baranoac.com. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air today. Florida license CAC 1816186.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Planning on expanding or renovating your home or business? Did you know that these construction projects start with preliminary work such as professional sets of drawings and proper engineering? Before you apply for financing or sign a lease agreement, allow our team of contractors, architects, and engineers to assist you with planning and budgeting. Hello, I'm Travis, owner of T-Spark Enterprises, and I am here because we want your project to launch on the right foot. Call us today and we will take care of your construction needs. We aim to provide work that will exceed your expectations, guaranteeing picture-perfect results.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CGC 1525336. Oh yes, you've thought about it, but now it's time to enjoy the moss-drenched live oak, rolling hills, and pristine greens of Southwood Golf Club. Our friends at Southwood Golf Club offer individual, family, and student memberships, and now offer the all-in membership. That's right, never pay a card fee when you play. Don't forget, at Southwood Golf Club, it's not just about the golf. Hit the clubhouse for brunch, or maybe enjoy trivia night, live music, happy hour, and all-you-can-eat night specials too. For membership information or to join right now, just call 850-942-4653. Southwood Golf Club is ready to make you a member. 850-942-4653.
Seminole Headlines, Podcast Edition, is presented to you by the Morgan Law Group, representing the policyholder, going after the insurance companies. Offices, Miami, Orlando, Naples, and Panama City. Online at policyadvocate.com.
Hey guys, how are you? This is Eddie from Gordo's Restaurants and Bumpa's Local 349. I just want to let you guys know that we here in the local community love to have you back. It's 25%, we know. But we're doing the best that we can to serve you and do what we do the way we do it. Same great food, a little bit more space. And we're not the only ones. There's lots of local restaurants out there. Just remember, eat local, drink local, be local. Come see us.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachian Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Attention Tallahassee, Phase 1 is Phase Patio at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill will be serving up the coldest, crispest refreshments and their signature delicious jumbo wings, all while adhering to responsible social distancing. You know this is the best time of the year to sit on the outdoor patio or deck, so make the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway your first and most frequent stop for Phase Patio. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Order takeout today at cptallybar.com. That's cptallybar.com. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Gulick and Wingo.
I get the Eagles draft. I don't have a huge problem with their draft. The Packers, on the other hand, head scratcher. It's not just that they took Jordan Love, but they took a running back in A.J. Dillon, who, by the way, rewrote the record book at Boston College. Did. Will be very productive, I believe, at the next level. But they had Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones. Yeah, Aaron Jones and right. Jamal Williams. To not take a wide receiver in a wide receiver-rich draft is the real issue I have with Green Bay.
How else is Aaron Rodgers supposed to look at
at this draft and perceive the way the organization thinks about him. If you drafted his heir apparent with the first-round pick and then just flat out refused to get an offensive weapon when he had been on the record like a day before the draft of saying, I think it was on Pat McAfee's radio show, we haven't drafted a skill player in the first round in 15 years. It'd be pretty cool if we went and did that. They do draft a running back in the second round and then proceed to not draft any wide receivers in this draft. How else is Aaron Rodgers supposed to take this other than, well, let's start the clock?
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios in Florida's capital city. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
For Michael Langston, warchant.com, Florida State. Got good news. 4-star cornerback Hunter Washington, the nation's 11th ranked prospect at his position, announced he has committed to Florida State over Texas and numerous other major programs. Washington made his announcement with a commitment video on social media. Oh, you don't say. He is FSU's 6th commitment for the class of 2021 and the first high school prospect to pull the trigger for the Noles in nearly a month. College football recruiting, obviously on the mind right now, as we don't have anything else to hyper-focus on. He's had a long-standing bond with FSU defensive back coach Marcus Woodson, dating back to when Woodson was on Auburn's staff, and that relationship paved the way for the commitment today. That, according to Langston, quote, he's a great coach that I feel comfortable with. Washington said that about Woodson, and that when Florida State extended the offer, obviously he was excited. He was expected, in fact, to visit FSU in the spring. That trip had to be put on hold because of this GD coronavirus outbreak. That didn't affect his interest in the school. While communicating almost daily with the FSU staff, Washington has also developed a strong relationship with Mike Norvell. Washington is Florida State's first commitment since the offensive lineman Jake Slaughter, with the great last name, made his pledge on April the 13th. And Jake, if you're out there listening, I have very high hopes for you. You had no choice but to be a wonderful, dominating, pancake-inducing offensive lineman with a name like Jake Slaughter.
So I did watch this commitment video on his Twitter feed during the break. And as far as they go, B or B+. At the beginning of it, he's sitting in a chair in his living room and just listing everybody that he wants to thank, including his teachers at his school, the folks that help him become leaders and all that stuff. And then it shows him going through some drills and his highlights. And then, bam, he says as he's walking down a bridge, I think with his dad, he's like, I'm Florida State, going to bring the legacy back, all that stuff. He looks like a ball-hawking type of defensive back, an attacker. And obviously what we have to trust here as he commits is we're going to develop people and make them better by the time they leave campus.
6 feet tall, 175 pounds, good size for a corner in high school, and, that projects well, I would say, just from the measurables. He's nationally ranked at 157th, so anytime you're getting basically a top 160 player in the country, or at least one who is thought to be top 25 at his position, top 15 at his position, okay. That works. It means you're getting the tools to work with, and obviously, like you say, you have to develop them and turn them into the good football player that so many of our members of the secondary never got the opportunity to fulfill. I mean, if you think back on Stanford Samuels Jr. and so many others that came here in the last few years, you saw, and it was evident if you watched a practice or even the way they ran in games, that they could play, that they had the requisite athleticism. But something was sorely missing, and that was typically technique. That was the ability to find a football and to understand within the scheme what their roles were. That is to say, they were not coached well, not even in the slightest. It was perhaps the most damning thing about the defensive coordinator we hired. Wasn't just that he was asked to do multiple things, some of which he didn't want to do and lacked an expertise in, but that he failed to develop the very position he was said to be an expert at. And that was evident every Saturday. Every single Saturday. That leapt off the page about as much as our offensive line sucked. Commiserate, right? The two. Secondary play, god-awful. Offensive line play, god-awful. Yeah, every Saturday.
Yeah, and that was paired with the tail end of the Jimbo time where you weren't developing defensive backs in that period either, and linebackers this entire time have been terrible too.
We also had a lack of talent at linebacker to go with poorly coached. That's a deadly combination. So here's a kid who really can't play, and we're not going to teach him to do anything.
Yeah, I think.
All right, go get him.
We're going to need to steal the Rittenberg scale here because the unit trajectory for linebackers and defensive backs, when you combine the two deep.
Oh, yes. Now much
along with the development.
Better projection.
That trajectory was.
Previously, that was an impotent unit.
Some say the SAG Awards are. Kind of like the Oscars. I say that's the trajectory of where we were.
Yeah.
We've got to develop, though. And that's the thing. These guys strike me as those who really
They're
pay
developers,
attention.
Yes.
But a lot of people can blow an interview out the water, and then they get to the task at hand, and you go, oh, my God, they don't know how to do it. Holy crap.
Yeah, but there's no such evidence of these individuals as noted just a moment ago by the success rates at Memphis, at least on offense.
On offense, yeah.
That suggests they're that, right? That they're incompetent. No, the opposite is what we see from the evidence. When you take kids that went to Memphis, some of whom, as we noted, were either 3, 2, or not even ranked prospects in terms of stars, and turn them into All-Americans and draft choices for NFL teams, then obviously you had to have done a very good job of putting them in a position to succeed, clearly, which is what you can do through scheme, what you can do by utilizing their talents, recognizing what those talents are, first of all, and projecting them within your offense or your defense, and then putting them in a position to where they could utilize that skill set, maximize those abilities, and really produce not only while they're with you, but in a way that sees them noticed by the highest levels. Then you clearly developed players. You developed the mentality, the off-the-field work ethic required to reach that point, and the discipline, and obviously you made the most of their athleticism.
Yeah, the thing I'll say about this coaching staff that we can know for sure, if they don't get developed here, it won't be because they're not yelled at or there's not discipline, because there is discipline at every level of the offense and the defense in this staff, just from the people I've talked to so far. On defense, we all know that Odell up front, he's not an easy guy to play for, and you can hear him on the practice fields. If he loves you, he's going to coach you all the harder. And then the second level, Coach Marv, that dude has a quiet intensity about him. It gets louder when he gets practice. And then overall, defensive coordinator, at that particular coaching level, we've had a couple of types. Charles Kelly was a little bit more quiet. Harlan was, I think, a mixture from what we could see.
Yeah, I don't think, he wasn't sheepish. It's just that he, along the way, and understandably, became, I think, disgruntled, very frustrated.
He was undercut.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're trying to run one thing philosophically and then you have to run something completely differently. And then
Adam Fuller's not going to be undercut. Adam Fuller's a guy. No, I know you're not saying that. I'm saying I don't think we have to worry about that. It's clear to me that Norvell, safer if you're Kenny Dillingham, which you're going to report. Yeah, your offensive coordinator in name. I get that. But, I mean, defensively, no, I think Fuller he's been given carte blanche.
No, he's one of those. We were talking about, teachers, and if a certain kind walks in the room, you know that, this ain't going to fly. This ain't no substitute teacher. I've got to
buckle up.
Lay off. Like you tell your buddy, hey, man, lay off. We're not messing with this today. That's what he strikes me as when he walks into a defensive meeting. He kind of grasps the room. And on offense, the offensive line, you said Atkins can be tough on you, especially if you don't listen. But Coach Thompson is definitely there as a check and balance. He won't take any nonsense. Coach Norvell is overseeing Ron Dugans, who's already tough in his own right and coaches physical receiver play.
Oh, and I got to see firsthand. Side note, we have so little direct knowledge of what that's going to look like that when I have a little bit, I want to share it real quick since you said it. And I know I made note of this on the show before, but for those that didn't get to hear it, that was kind of refreshing to watch because Mike Norvell gets involved in every segment of his team, and you watch him go, and he coaches them up when he's there. He'll run over to the defense. He'll run over to the offense. And Coach Dugans was really excited to have his input. Like that, you could tell that's symbiotic. They're going to be fine.
Well, okay, so the receivers aren't going to have it easy. And you said one star receiver in particular was being told in no uncertain terms, this is how it's going to be.
Oh, he ran across the practice field. He was on the other side of the second practice field, all the way on the other side, sprinted across to let him know when he did it right after he had chided him several times for doing it wrong. So there's follow-up. You circle back and you note either the progress that is made or the continued insistence on doing it wrong. So that was really good to see.
And then, of course, Norvell's going to preside over the quarterbacks as well, even if he's not, the outright play caller, offensive coordinator type that's a Jimbo Fisher style. He's going to check in and let them know whether it's working or it's not. It's not to say Dillingham isn't tough either, but there is accountability. These guys are going to hold you accountable to doing what they want you to do, and if you don't, you're going to be out of the program, and chances are you're going to develop along the way. But
well, they got nothing to lose either right now. I mean, the expectations are pretty damn low. I would say there's a freedom that comes with being the guy who is hired after such a quick set of disastrous circumstances in which a hire was made previous and that coach and his staff fired. Because, again, you're talking about a sub-500 franchise you're taking over, if you will, or program, and B, they can't afford to fire you. So if you want to do things the way you want to do them, and that means you lose more in the immediate future than one would like, but you don't have to suffer the backlash and the repercussions that have real teeth to them, now is that time to make a point. You can send a message, make a point, and you can do so in a way that really is frustrating for fans to take in. It may mean more losses, but you have leeway. You're not going anywhere. They can't afford to fire you.
Yeah, but you have even more leeway if fans aren't allowed in the stands. What does it matter what the attendance looks like? There is no attendance.
There is no attendance,
Guys, maybe if it was the difference between 45,000 and 75,000 here, I might play this guy.
Yeah.
But since you can't come anyway,
yeah,
and you're starving to watch it on TV, we're going to do the better thing for the long term, because who cares?
I just thought of Jimbo saying if it was a different... What the hell?
That's the debt.
About punters.
So when Norvell sprinted from across one practice field to the other to tell a certain receiver, good job, you got it right.
Tamorian Terry.
Yes. Was he followed by our friend over at Seminoles.com?
Oh, yeah, right with the camera. He
to get the audio?
Exhausted.
Poor Lane.
Oh.
Lane, you know what? He was going to be in the best shape of his life by this time.
Without question.
Because of all the spring practice work.
That, or he was going to object the need to record every waking second of this man's movements in conversation. Like, can we do this once? I think we get the picture.
Could I have this same job for Bruce Arians? He'll just let me on the golf cart.
Hell, I'll just sit next to him and have a cocktail. Yeah.
Win or losing, we're boozing.
That was well done. That was a good job. But anyway, no, don't bring me down. I'm in a good place. We're all right. We're golden here. This is a good staff.
Marvin Wilson came back.
Hopefully we get to see him play and that it was for a good reason. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
Should be trapped in the trap. Would you prefer that? 4th grade reading level.
Oh, yes, you've thought about it, but now it's time to enjoy the moss-drenched live oak, rolling hills, and pristine greens of Southwood Golf Club. Our friends at Southwood Golf Club offer individual, family, and student memberships, and now offer the all-in membership. That's right, never pay a card fee when you play. Don't forget, at Southwood Golf Club, it's not just about the golf. Hit the clubhouse for brunch, or maybe enjoy trivia night, live music, happy hour, and all-you-can-eat night specials, too. For membership information or to join right now, just call 850-942-4653. Southwood Golf Club is ready to make you a member. 850-942-4653.
And now, an ad from Dad.
All right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Can I take these off? All right. What is this? This looks good. Wow, that's well made. Where did you get this? I'm talking to you with the hair. Yeah, where did you get this? It's good stuff. That's solid. That's not veneer, that's solid stuff.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
You've known for a while now that the best place to grab lunch in downtown Tallahassee is Metro Deli. But did you know that Metro Deli is now offering its own online grocery list? That's right. Head to MetroDeliTally.com today to check out all of the best offerings of meats, cheeses, breads, egg salad, tuna salad, signature dishes, and more from your friends at Metro Deli. Metro Deli, more than just a lunch shop, now your corner deli market. Head to MetroDeliTally.com today to support those who support local hospitality workers during the COVID-19 crisis.
Not all law firms are equal, so here's why Fonville Lewis Mesher McConaughey was recently voted Tallahassee's best law firm. First, we only take real cases. If your car was barely bumped and you think you're going to get rich, we're not the firm for you. We limit our practice to serious cases with legitimate claims. Second, we only take cases involving real injuries. If you know you aren't hurt but think you can fool your way into a quick settlement, we're not the firm for you. We encourage our clients to heal up and get better, not sit on the couch and expect a windfall. Third, we don't want clients who are just in it for the money. If the very first thing you think of after getting hurt is calling pound something or other on your cell phone instead of calling 911, we're not the firm for you. Your health should always come first. And finally, we won't blow smoke about a big money outcome just to get your case. Other firms overpromise and underdeliver. Our only promise is that we'll work harder than anyone to get you the best result. Remember, the law firm you have representing you makes all the difference, so don't settle for less. Call Fonville Lewis Mesher McConaughey and let us put our reputation to work for you.
This spring, I'm making Everyday Earth Day by incorporating small actions that can create big results.
Like what?
Well, I'm starting with daily habits. Turning off the lights every time I leave a room, shutting off the tap when I brush my teeth, and unplugging electronics when I'm not using them.
Those are great ideas our whole family can do.
And since we're home more, I could also use your help with a few one-time projects that could benefit us long-term, like fixing water leaks and installing our rain barrel.
I'd love to help. Right after I call the City of Tallahassee Utilities at 891-4968 to sign up for paperless billing.
Excellent! Tonight, let's ask the kids if they have any ideas about what we can do to save energy, water, and money as we celebrate Earth Day at home.
2020 marks the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and there are many things TLH can do to celebrate at home. Get inspiration at TLHCanDo.com. Small actions create big results. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities.
Come visit the new and exciting Hangar 38. This amazing place is for everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier, full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
Attention Tallahassee, Phase 1 is Phase Patio at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Starting Monday, the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill will be serving up the coldest, crispest refreshments and their signature delicious jumbo wings, all while adhering to responsible social distancing. You know this is the best time of the year to sit on the outdoor patio or deck, so make the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway your first and most frequent stop for Phase Patio. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Order takeout today at cptallybar.com. That's cptallybar.com. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
Golic and Wingo.
With a glaring need and only two quarterbacks on their roster at the time, in Brian Hoyer and Jarrett Stidham, the Patriots did not draft a quarterback. We thought they might take one later in the day. Now, they did sign Brian Lewerke.
Right, yeah. For Michigan State, yeah.
So they have two former Michigan State quarterbacks on their roster now, and Brian Hoyer and Brian Lewerke. But Bill Belichick basically said after the draft, hey, he believes in what they've got.
Yeah, no, I like both those players. You know, we've had Brian a couple times. We have a lot of confidence in him. Jarrett had a good year last year. He improved a lot. Yeah, I have confidence in both players.
I think the biggest takeaway that if you're a Patriots fan or wondering what they're doing in the post-Tom Brady era, listen, this goes back to what we said all along. When they decided, really at the start of the year last season, to let Tom Brady's contract expire, they were comfortable with Jarrett Stidham. And this draft is just, again, reinforcing that fact.
Golic and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios in Florida's capital city. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. Hope you're well. You know how over the years, Tom, you've noted some things that you've seen in me that have changed quite a bit in the time that we've been cohorts, friends, and the like. And one of them, in some areas, has been patience. It was on display yesterday. I think I am certainly a different man at 48 than I was at 38. There's no doubt. So I had a bunch of things go wrong yesterday. After the show, we thought me and Matt Millar, my dear friend Matt Millar, who over the years has helped me fix, my old producer and good buddy, has helped me fix so many things because I'm the least handy person. I note it all the time that you probably know. I really can't fix anything. But the key to making intelligent decisions is know what you don't know and hire people who do, so that you have an opportunity to excel, to succeed, and not frustrate yourself to the point where you say things you're going to regret or make decisions you're going to regret.
Or pay them off with tall boys, but yeah.
Right. In the case of Millar, yeah, he's a cheap date. But here's the thing. Whether it's his level of expertise or a professional level of expertise where I have to actually go hire somebody for the job at hand because either Matt doesn't have the tools or the know-how, while he is incredibly handy, he doesn't know how to do everything. So sometimes I actually have to hire working professionals within the field, right? But we didn't make good decisions, and we tried to do some things involving a hot water heater and a new one and all this other stuff, and it didn't go the way we had wanted. There were some hiccups along the way.
And now the east wing of the Cameron Mansion is completely gone.
And so ultimately what ended up happening was an executive decision had to be made at 11 o'clock at night. After spending hours and several trips and moments of reflection on what wasn't working and what needed to be done and how best to get that done. And so I want you to know that at no point while I did all of that and then suffered the most probably grievous moment of them all while that's happening. Now, you would think this would lead to some sort of expletive-laden outburst or a flipping of something or something, right? This thing that we thought we had remedied broke at 10-something at night, and it became apparent I was going to have to call somebody in to get the job done, or else the Camerons would have no water. So, okay, that's fine. I needed to reach out to somebody I've known for some time in the plumbing world. And I hadn't talked to him in a couple of years because the last I haven't needed any plumbing help, and we're just professional acquaintances, right? So I go to call this person, and it works, and I call. It's like one does, and I feel bad about calling them at 10 o'clock at night on a Monday. Today's Monday, right?
Yesterday was.
Yesterday was, yeah. And so, but I have to have water, so what are you going to do? And I call, and they answer, and they're like, hey. And I said, I'm sorry to call you this late, da-da-da. And back and forth we go, and he said, no problem. I've got an assistant in town. I'm not in town currently, Jeff, but they can come out and help you tonight. They'll come out tonight. I didn't even expect that, right? I said, okay. Now, I know that's going to cost me an arm and a leg, but you got to do what you got to do. He says, he's on another job right now. He's not far from you. He'll be on his way. Text me your address. I don't have it anymore. Text me your address. I'm going to send it to him, and then he'll be in touch with you. So I say, okay, thank you very much. Hang up the phone. Type in the address to him. Hit send. Right as I hit send, phone goes dark, and the spinning circle of death reveals itself.
Oh, no.
Yes. Yes. No water. Been working all day, all night, post-show on this thing. Now have turned to a plumber, and all he needs is the address, and he's going to send somebody right over. I type it in. Nothing. His business has moved. He's since sold it off. So looking it up online is going to do me no good. I don't know who he sold it to. It is now under the umbrella of a different company. I don't have his number saved for in my cell. I don't know that the address I just sent him got sent, and I can't get the call back from the associate to know it's on the way. He's on the way.
Is this simply a battery issue? You ran out of battery?
No, not a battery issue at all. This piece of crap just stopped working for no reason whatsoever. Just went black, and then the little white spinning circle of death in the middle of your phone. And I know from video game lore that any circle spinning or blinking is not good. The red circle, all those kinds of things, you're dead.
Much like its grandparent, the hourglass, that doesn't actually rotate.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. It's the worst. You're like, okay, here we go. We're done here. And it won't let me turn it off. So I sit down at my computer and I'm going, okay, here's what I do. Let's look up remedies. YouTube is good for all this stuff. Surely somebody's had this happen and then they did this. They put some rice on the cover and it worked. Some ridiculous thing, right? So here we go. I go to YouTube and it says just hit volume up once, volume down once. Then push the little side button over here on the right and hold it down until the Apple logo shows, and you should be good to go. Oh, so clickety-click. Meanwhile, time is wasting. I'm tired. I want to go to bed.
Oh, it took time to pull up the computer and get this YouTube video up, the one that was good, because usually you find the one and then somebody's selling something, an app. Or,
right.
You know.
And in addition to that, my wife wants to take a shower, so I've got that over there going on with I would like to take a shower before I go to bed. We'd all like to take a shower. So anyhow, here, trying to be patient, right? You know, trying to be good. Anyhow, I click the volume button up, volume button down, side button, nothing. Got nothing. So I'm growing frustrated.
Up, down, left, right.
Contra. So what I end up doing is not losing my cool. I laughed. I said, of course, in the middle of a pandemic, I have no running water to speak of. I've spent 6 hours of my day trying to remedy the situation, not to mention countless hundreds of dollars, and it hasn't worked. And now my phone, in the very moment when I could get relief and reach out to somebody who's prepared to fix this, decides it's going to give me the spinning wheel of death. And do I throw something, say words I'm going to regret, even exhibit too much emotion? No, not at all. I just chuckled. I went, of course. Great, this is good. And then I thought, because I stayed calm, something good happened. I thought, oh, wait a minute, iPad in the back. I don't remember, but perhaps.
It's synced up to your messages and your contacts.
Synced up. I couldn't remember if I did that, but I thought it was. And I walked back there very calmly, grabbed the iPad, started looking, went, aha. And it doesn't have the name, but it had the number that because the text did go through. And I went, eureka, there it is. Grabbed my wife's phone. Meanwhile, the spinning circle of death is going on in perpetuity, apparently. And that is frustrating.
So it's just like the screen didn't go blank.
Just a circling. That's all you got.
Okay. Just circling. Oh, just making sure.
That's it, circling.
8-second delay, just making sure there's...
No, just circling and circling and circling and circling. It's ridiculous. And so then finally, I grabbed my wife's phone. But here's the number. And it was 15, 20 minutes after the fact. And I was like, hey, Trey, thanks. Sorry. Call you even later than I called you just 15 minutes ago. Did you get that number? And oh, by the way, my phone's not working. This is my wife's number. Have the repairman that's on his way call this number to let me know when he's going to be here, etc. All worked out. Cameron's had running water around midnight last night. Phone never really came back on until I was going to bed. And then it all of a sudden went, voila, it's working. And I laughed. I just laughed.
Is it like Michael Jordan in practice?
Oh, yeah.
What's up, ho?
It just started working again. I looked at it. It looked at me. I kind of shot it another look, as if to say, if you ever do that again, you're in the river. But what are you going to do? I don't know what the hell was going on. Over an hour and some odd of just a spinning circle for no reason.
Was it installing updates maybe?
No. It just randomly didn't work for no effing reason whatsoever. And I went to bed. I never once raised my voice. I didn't turn to the bottle. I was just a sound, mature, well-reasoned, well-adjusted man.
And how did it feel?
I didn't like it. I felt better about it this morning. I liked the results of the decisions that I made better this morning when I awoke. In the moment, I did not like it. I did not like refraining from letting it all out.
So you had to, though, make round trips to the hardware store.
Oh, several times.
Yeah. You're telling me, did you drive by yourself to the hardware store, or was Millar riding?
Millar rode with me once, to and fro. And then I went by myself when I had to go back to said hardware store.
For the same reason?
For the same exact reason. And I had to get there by 8 because they're now closing at 8. And I had to haul ass. When this thing broke the second time, I had to go up there to spend more money on this thing. I said, oh, blank, they close in 12 minutes. This is not good.
Oh, yeah, you got to hustle. You could do it in 9.
I did.
Yeah, 9.
Probably a little sub 9. I might have been going a bit. But that QX80 can move. So.
Heard of Hall Notes? You're hauling ass.
And I did. I got there. And I actually made the lady at the checkout chuckle because I was sprinting through the door as they were making arrangements to lock said door. I was like, no. And then she looked at me and I went, no. I got no water if you close those doors. She was like, go ahead.
Jack Bauer, you got a piece out?
Yeah.
Stop right now. If you make that phone call, we all die.
Yeah. No, I ended up, she laughed and she said, okay, got it. And then I had to compare whether or not the bolt, the nuts and bolts were 3/4 or a 1/2 inch. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. I'm comparing these. And I did, and it worked out.
So when you drove to and fro by yourself, not a word was uttered?
Not a word. No, I was listening to music. I tried to listen to an album that I wanted to listen to.
That's impressive. Alone in the car is a time to let it all out.
To drop an F-bomb.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't do anything. I just put on music.
And clearly nobody pulled in front of you en route.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because then I think it would have pushed you over the top. You might have said something to that car for going 42 miles per hour.
Perhaps, but I was good. No problems there. It all aligned nicely. I was able to get what I needed, leave, set a stop. They loved me. They should have stayed open an extra hour. Let's see if he comes back. It'll be worth it. He'll pay for the lights by himself. Yeah, but so then I made my way back and nothing. Not a drop of booze, not a curse word thrown.
It's the second time you
not a voice
mentioned the booze.
Well, I'm just saying, of all of the steps that I might fall to, that something to help alleviate frustrations or moments of tension. Nothing.
No tall boys during the fixing process.
Zero. No, I haven't had anything.
Now that is unique.
No, nothing.
2 dudes fixing something. Not a beer was had.
No, we were professional all the way, just doing what we were trying to do. Perhaps we should have because it failed, but yeah. Knowing that you need to call the people and do the thing and all that.
Was the guy weird about it?
No, he was cool. In fact, I liked him a lot. And I'll give you one better. It relates back to the show. Guy came in, was really friendly. I apologize profusely, even though you got to pay them like triple time and all that at that hour. But you know what? Guy came in. I said, I'm really sorry, man. I know. Monday night, you're out here fixing my thing. This has got to suck. He goes, no, I know what I signed up for. It's fine. I go, what's the latest you've ever worked? He goes, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. It happens. We get emergency calls all the time. It's okay. I was like, ooh. Anyhow, that was me thinking out loud. And then we talked some more, and that guy was awesome. He goes, so he's about like 30 minutes into the fix, and he goes, how's the show going? So I'm like, oh, cool. So that's first he's brought it up. I go, it's going well. Everything's going well. He goes, hey, it got to be tough right now doing the show and all that. I'm like, yeah, it is. But, we're doing it, blah, blah, blah. Then he goes, I got a funny story about that. I go, about what? He goes, the show, your show. I said, what about it? He goes, you remember a long time ago when you used to take calls? I said, I do. I remember that. Yeah. He goes, well, he said, you may remember that a certain offensive coordinator's wife called into your show. And I said, yes, I absolutely remember that.
Really? Around what time was this?
Oh, this is the Lost Decade, and Daryl Dickey's wife called the show. And she was mad because I was ripping him. And she called the show and faked their name, but her students recognized her voice, and they were listening to the show.
Oh, my.
And so Millar kept getting calls going, that's so-and-so. And I knew it, too. I could tell just by how angry she was that it clearly was somebody either related to or married to, in this case, the OC, the said OC that I was ripping. And she got made fun of in class. He said, well, the rest of the story goes like this. Somebody brought a recording to school and played it in the back while she was teaching, and she became enraged. Oh, I was like, well, see, I didn't mean to cause all that.
That's a roasting and a half from the student.
It is. And then the guy last night who was so nice, his name was Clay, who was fixing my thing there, said, yep, that's when I learned, even at an early age, that adults can be children too. And I laughed out loud.
You can't beat that, and that's a way to finish
It was
there.
fantastic. We both had a good chuckle about it. So, see, it all worked out. There you go. And there's water running in the Cameron's house.
People keep on learning.
Front Row Knowles, featuring Tom Block and Keith Jones, is brought to you by Hobson Chevrolet in Cairo, Georgia. Get your best deal the Hobson way. Catch Front Row Knowles every Wednesday night at 6, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
Your home has been a place of great comfort. We can help you keep it that way. Barno Heating and Air is helping you get ready for summer with $1,500 off select new units, 0% financing for qualified buyers, plus worry-free maintenance plans. Learn more or schedule online at BarnoAC.com. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barno Heating and Air today. Florida license CAC 1816186.
Not all law firms are equal, so here's why Fonville Lewis Mesher McConaughey was recently voted Tallahassee's best law firm. First, we only take real cases. If your car was barely bumped and you think you're going to get rich, we're not the firm for you. We limit our practice to serious cases with legitimate claims. Second, we only take cases involving real injuries. If you know you aren't hurt but think you can fool your way into a quick settlement, we're not the firm for you. We encourage our clients to heal up and get better, not sit on the couch and expect a windfall. Third, we don't want clients who are just in it for the money. If the very first thing you think of after getting hurt is calling pound something or other on your cell phone instead of calling 911, we're not the firm for you. Your health should always come first. And finally, we won't blow smoke about a big money outcome just to get your case. Other firms overpromise and underdeliver. Our only promise is that we'll work harder than anyone to get you the best result. Remember, the law firm you have representing you makes all the difference, so don't settle for less. Call Fonville Lewis Mesher McConaughey and let us put our reputation to work for you.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachian Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Attention Tallahassee, Phase 1 is Phase Patio at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Starting Monday, the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill will be serving up the coldest, crispest refreshments and their signature delicious jumbo wings, all while adhering to responsible social distancing. You know this is the best time of the year to sit on the outdoor patio or deck, so make the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachian Parkway your first and most frequent stop for Phase Patio. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Order takeout today at cptallybar.com. That's cptallybar.com. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
With a Bojangles 3-piece chicken supreme snack, you get a plate of bold, boneless chicken and a hot, fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit for just $3.99. Or, if you'd rather 2 pieces of bone-in fried chicken with a biscuit and a fixin', don't you worry, because that's $3.99 too. It's such a good deal, you can knock out dinner and balance your budget in one fell swoop. Because if you're going to take out 2 birds with 1 stone, they ought to be delicious. Bojangles. It's bow time.
Hey guys, how are you? This is Eddie from Gordo's Restaurants and Bumpa's Local 349. I just want to let you guys know that we here in the local community love to have you back. It's 25%, we know, but we're doing the best that we can to serve you and do what we do the way we do it. Same great food, a little bit more space. And we're not the only ones. There's lots of local restaurants out there. Just remember, eat local, drink local, be local. Come see us.
Golick and Wingo.
What you heard Howie Roseman talking about after this is sort of the backup quarterback God complex that exists there now. They believe that they are so capable of developing and honing that spot that they can do no wrong with a pick like this. That's, to me, what kind of shined through in all this is we're so confident in what we do that we think we can justify this pick where it was with this particular guy.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
You've known for a while now that the best place to grab lunch in downtown Tallahassee is Metro Deli. But did you know that Metro Deli is now offering its own online grocery list? That's right. Head to MetroDeliTally.com today to check out all of the best offerings of meats, cheeses, breads, egg salad, tuna salad, signature dishes, and more from your friends at Metro Deli. Metro Deli, more than just a lunch shop, now your corner deli market. Head to MetroDeliTally.com today to support those who support local hospitality workers during the COVID-19 crisis.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Again.
You know, there's an offensive tackle, Jared Williams, who is, I was looking at Patrick Burnham's assessment of him from the Osceola News, and he was noting that he believes him to be a considerable upgrade of what we have at left tackle or right tackle, based on the tape he watched from USF in 2018, versus USF, He's a Houston offensive tackle. Long and athletic, real good feet, big kid. Keep him coming. Let's go.
Alrighty, so he is an average tackle. Sounds good. Sign me up.
Yeah, buddy. Let me tell you something. Average tackle wouldn't that... We would think that we had signed Walter Jones for the second coming of. At this point, the way we've played along the offensive line, if you are in fact labeled and play up to the standard of average, you're a conquering hero, a savior.
Think about the day that we're able to say, second quarter, first commercial break, man, he's got time to throw today. Time is not the problem.
When was the last time we said that? 2015?
For a game that meant anything?
Against a good team that presented a formidable pass rush.
Maybe 16 Florida. I feel like the offense was able to do whatever the hell it wanted that night.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, Dalvin went off, but a couple of those plays. I mean, I think Freddie was hit on a pass for a touchdown. Dalvin had a pass thrown in for a touchdown. And DeAndre threw a couple of strikes to the back of the end zone. He ran in for one as well.
Well, and celebrated... Indeed.
That's right. Did a receiver touchdown in that game? Now you got me curious.
Well, now you're going to go look it up. Go look it up. I'd forgotten about that game. You are correct. Offense hum there. That might have been the byproduct of Florida not being any good.
Oh, and they were done. They didn't care.
Yeah. I think that kind of also had a lot to do with it, Tom.
They started Austin Appleby that game.
Oof.
He was 19 of 35 for $149.
Good God, that game has been blocked from my memory.
All right, DeAndre threw for one and ran for one. Dalvin had 26 carries for $153.
Get you some. They were tired of seeing him.
Thunder Freddie Stevens had 2 carries for 30 yards and a touchdown.
Thunder.
And DeAndre only completed 15 passes for $138.
Shocking.
So, I don't know. Maybe he had time, maybe he didn't. Travis Rudolph led all receivers for Florida State, 4 catches, 63 yards, and a score. 46-yard touchdown. Oh, 46-yard catch was long. I don't know if that was a touchdown.
Boy, what a nondescript win over Florida that was. To where you don't, I mean, I know you obviously have better recall about that game than I do. Once you noted Dalvin's day and the celebration from our quarterback, I remembered the game.
He did score on the long pass. It was the end of the third quarter. Put us up 17-6. So there you go. Travis Rudolph. Man, we thought his career was going to be so prolific.
Yeah.
Remember the Notre Dame game? He catches the ball out in the right flat, and he jukes the kid, goes in the end zone, high step.
We did, and that was awesome, by the way. And he could have been flagged for that, but he wasn't, which good, because that should never be a flag. Yeah, I do remember that, and we did think that. And, he ended up being one of the many guys that left early that we went, what did you do that for?
He killed Syracuse, though.
He did. Golly. When you go through those eras of decline, or moments where it's painfully obvious that the product is falling off, when you hear the names from that time, and it's not their fault. I always feel bad for kids who are part of that run where things begin to go south because they receive an undue amount of criticism, right? It's that they were poorly coached or that things were going south behind the scenes. It does remind you that as things become more hectic and disorganized off the field, the effect it has on players, and many of whom are actually really promising recruits who never pan out, never fulfill their promise because of all the other stuff that doesn't necessarily have to do with football.
Looking up as you're talking about that, somebody who did very much pan out, and Dalvin Cook's 2016 season and how ridiculous it was. Remember, he started with the shoulder injury, and we were wondering about how much he cared to play the game in the big loss to Louisville on the road, because it looked like he didn't necessarily want to feel the contact, but he was dealing with the shoulder.
Well, yeah, I remember that really well, yeah. I think it might have been a little bit of both, though.
Jimbo said there wasn't a shoulder issue, but then a season with showed he had some kind of strap
on.
Yeah,
Jimbo lied about that.
Right.
Yeah, that's correct.
But then the South Florida game starts, this run for the ages for him in FSU lore. Against USF, 28 carries for 267 yards in that game. He also had 4 catches for 62. Then against North Carolina, the heroic effort. Remember that one, the game we blew? We had the lead with however many seconds left.
I absolutely remember the final touchdown that he scored that put us up.
Oh, through all the contact. He had 29 for $140. He also had 6 catches for 106. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough because that defense was putrid. But I'll spare you the receiving totals from there. But it's $150, 115, 169, merely 65 yards against NC State. But then he had 108, 225 against the Cuse, 153 against Florida, and 145 against Michigan.
225 against the Cuse. I remember that day. Good Lord, Syracuse. They were like, please, somebody other than this guy touch the ball.
That was Smagmus, Mary Smagmus, that game. That was also Rudolph going crazy.
Once again, as I noted, the aforementioned decline of a program that certain guys get undue blame because there's a lot of negative things happening behind the scenes in the moment that lead to really disorganized and disjointed efforts on the field, where games are lost to teams that have far less in the way of talent. And that's been going on, for a little while. I mean, there were some games, certainly even last year and the year before, where we certainly had more talent than the opposition. Not as much or not as lopsidedly so as maybe we would sometimes think. That's also been proven to be the case by the lack of people drafted. The NFL hasn't thought much of what we're producing lately.
No. Not even really in the potential department.
Yeah.
Like you see some players, like when Derwin went early, our number one fear was...
I think that Stanford Samuels Jr. was...
Or the third. I think
he was third, was left out to dry, yeah. I think he has the ability to play.
Well, I remember the open practices for Willie. I mean, he was the most dominant cover player we had, and the next thing you know, the next week they want to move him to Zeus.
Well, they did so many poor things, yes.
But Derwin, that was the concern when he was overall being profiled as a top 10 player. And we're like, does he have a home at the NFL? Like, does he have a position where he can excel?
Yeah, it turned out to be a hybrid badass.
Because if he does, it just means that we did absolutely nothing with him. And that was the case.
That was absolutely the case. And I can...
Why does your freshman year have to be your best year when you come to Florida State? That's the hard part.
It can be when things aren't going right. Certainly when things are happening the way they're supposed to, in the fashion that they're supposed to, in the order that they're supposed to. You watch kids show promise early on, only to see it realize and dominate. That has happened with several guys. It did happen under Jimbo's early time here. We hope now that very thing that kind of gave us hope in 2010, I know Corey wrote about this, that very thing that gave us hope in 2010 is on display this year if games are played under Norvell, which is the hope I hold on to here more than anything else, is that while we aren't where we need to be, position for position, depth, talent overall, if you take... And again, you have to knock on wood, hope to avoid injury, all of that. You could suffer real setbacks when you have talent in the front line, but you got nothing behind it. A few injuries really make all of this a moot point.
4 or 5 games in a row. Yeah.
All of it really becomes, a kind of a sad decline that you'll watch happen because you lose the starter here and you don't have anything behind him. But if those guys are to maximize ability, be put in positions to succeed, coached up, in short, I think Florida State's talented enough to probably shock a lot of people. I really believe that. I believe if you get the most out of our starters, all the coaches do a very good job of getting guys to play to the best of their ability and really fit them properly and play to their strengths and avoid those weaknesses, which is, again, a big part of what you do as a coach. You got to self-scout here. Got to self-scout. Can't ask this kid to do this thing. He cannot. So, that's really my frustration. If you do that, and I have a feeling that Norvell can and has been at Memphis, all right, you could win 8-9 games.
What's interesting to me is the story of Javian Elliott was already fun and a great one, and one that gives you hope, especially if you're a fringe player, that maybe there will be a better day ahead.
Yeah, maybe.
He emerges in the post-Pruitt era, right? Like, he emerges in a weird time for us, and not only is he a player of significance here at FSU, but he's a player of significance in the NFL. Like, so how do you emerge when we can't coach him up to a place where you're going to also make it at the NFL level?
Yeah.
How good did you, were you just really good and we couldn't develop you into something even better? Like, how does that happen? Or is he just an exception to the rule?
Well, I knew he was tiny. I knew, just being, in terms of looking at him, I bet he didn't pass the eye test for guys. They were just like, he's going to get hurt. He's too small.
But for all the guys that we didn't develop, here comes this walk-on out of nowhere.
I know, man.
Must have been his own will.
Yeah, hard work, perseverance, toughness, mental and physical. And then actual skill. He has skill, obviously. Quick twitch, obviously. So yeah. He's a guy that...
I remember the one thing that raised my eyebrows the most, because Derwin is a fiercely loyal person and player.
Mm-hmm.
The one story, and I know players and coaches get heated all the time. See Michael Jordan hitting Steve Kerr in the face to defy Phil Jackson.
Which doesn't bother me, but yeah.
But the story I heard third hand, so it's not something I saw with my own eyes, that Derwin was correcting Charles Kelly on what plays he needed to
that
run.
hurts. That's not good.
Dude, man, he's barely out of his teens.
That can't happen. Referencing punches to the face, you know that Jordan also punched Will Perdue in the face?
Did he really?
Yeah, I read this yesterday and it made me laugh. He punched Will Perdue in and Will likes him. He punched Will, and so does Steve Kerr. He punched Will Perdue in the face because Will Perdue was setting really hard picks in the practices and scrimmages, and then when they would play the Knicks, who had a bunch of grown-ass men, he wouldn't set those picks as hard.
Oh, really?
And Mike was like, you want to set hard picks in practice to your teammates, but we get out here against men like,
Yeah, CO.
Mm-hmm, and you won't set those picks. Set that pick again. Go ahead. And pa-da! It's like, that's awesome. Message sent.
I told him I was going to hit him in the face. You heard me tell you, Will.
I like that. Again, I like him even more every week.
From you, I could take a little hint from you. I'd run away. I'd run away with you, baby.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Planning on expanding or renovating your home or business? Did you know that these construction projects start with preliminary work such as professional sets of drawings and proper engineering? Before you apply for financing or sign a lease agreement, allow our team of contractors, architects, and engineers to assist you with planning and budgeting. Hello, I'm Travis, owner of T-Spark Enterprises, and I am here because we want your project to launch on the right foot. Call us today and we will take care of your construction needs. We aim to provide work that will exceed your expectations, guaranteeing picture-perfect results.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CGC 1525336.
This spring, I'm making Everyday Earth Day by incorporating small actions that can create big results.
Like what?
Well, I'm starting with daily habits, turning off the lights every time I leave a room, shutting off the tap when I brush my teeth, and unplugging electronics when I'm not using them.
Those are great ideas our whole family can do.
And since we're home more, I could also use your help with a few one-time projects that could benefit us long-term, like fixing water leaks and installing our rain barrel.
I'd love to help right after I call the City of Tallahassee Utilities at 891-4968 to sign up for paperless billing.
Excellent! Tonight, let's ask the kids if they have any ideas about what we can do to save energy, water, and money as we celebrate Earth Day at home.
2020 marks the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and there are many things TLH can do to celebrate at home. Get inspiration at TLHCanDo.com. Small actions create big results. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
It's time to head to Cabo's. Cabo's lunch deal menu features a quarter-pound cheeseburger, black bean burger, fried flounder po' boy, or grilled chicken and veggie wrap, plus many more. All include tea or coffee and are just $8.79. Cabo's Island Grill and Bar, located in the Appalachian Parkway Shopping Center.
Not every law firm is the same. For example, you don't hire a divorce attorney to handle a foreclosure. The same goes for your insurance claim. Hire a firm that has the knowledge and experience in handling insurance matters. The Morgan Law Group is dedicated solely to this cause, fighting insurance claims that are underpaid, delayed, or denied. With offices throughout Florida, the Morgan Law Group covers claims for all hurricanes, storms, mold, fires, boats, and even sinkholes. Representing the policyholder, going after the insurance companies. The Morgan Law Group. Offices Miami, Orlando, Naples, and Panama City. Online at policyadvocate.com.
Not an employee or member of law firm.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
Your home has been a place of great comfort. We can help you keep it that way. Barno Heating and Air is helping you get ready for summer with $1,500 off select new units, 0% financing for qualified buyers, plus worry-free maintenance plans. Learn more or schedule online at BarnoAC.com. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barno Heating and Air today. Florida license CAC 1816186.
Lane's Medical Shop has all of your home medical needs. They carry home oxygen, hospital beds, nebulizers, walkers, wheelchairs, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and all sleep apnea supplies. Lane's also has a weight loss clinic in-house, no appointment necessary, including B12 injections and any prescriptions necessary with the lowest prices around, and delivers to Tallahassee and South Georgia. Located only 40 miles from Tallahassee. Go see Blake today, 210 West Main Street, Colquitt, Georgia, 229-758-9111.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Trey Wingo in the middle of that thing, with that energy, in the studio by himself, balancing everything he had to balance for 3 consecutive days, was my MVP of the weekend.
Wow, the highest praise. Adam Schefter, I'm sorry that you are not Stugatz's MVP of the weekend. We appreciate your participation in this contest.
Let me just say, when you give out the MVP to Trey Wingo, he's very worthy, but I would give an MVP and I would share it amongst 150 people who are actually at ESPN, in the control room, in the building, forced to leave their homes at a time when everybody's working
but Adam,
from home.
Adam, that's all well and fine, and you've come to the award podium, and you've said the thing that will get the applause, but again, Trey Wingo was the MVP, according to Stugatz, not anyone else. Now, give us what you're here for, winners and losers, Schefter, winners and losers.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios in Florida's capital city. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I don't know why, but normally people have a craving for a certain food or drink. Like a lot of time it could be for the average Joe out there who loves sports like myself. You might say, boy, I really can't wait to eat some wings tonight or something like that. These days, Tom, I share your desire for tacos. It never goes away. I don't think it ever will either. I could foresee myself outgrowing wings, outgrowing any number of things. I don't eat a lot of meat to begin with, but I do eat a lot of seafood, so that's like the one exception. But I could see me someday saying, I'm going to put down the wings. But tacos, that's never going to change.
No, and the recipe in our house for tacos for me has been exactly the same. It's not like chicken tacos.
You don't even mix it up.
No, it is pork tenderloin with caramelized onions that are cooked right on the pan with it, and it is a habanero barbecue sauce that is
doesn't sound terrible.
No, it's not terrible, and it'll put you in your place a little bit more than a hot sauce will.
Yeah.
Some hot sauce
got a little something to it.
It really does.
A little what for?
A little fresh pico too, freshly made, beautiful.
Well, I know Jamie very, very well, and I know that her and I would share the same taco interest in that she is not having the pork tenderloin. She is having what I guess is shrimp.
Shrimp, black bean tacos.
Oh, those are good too.
Yeah. Frijoles negros.
Can't go wrong with that.
And then from time to time it'll be a better fish kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's mostly the black beans because that's the easiest to prepare.
It's also delicious.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with those either. Really can't wait to experience taco night at your house someday.
You've had an invite for years.
I don't recall these invites.
Oh.
When did you ever say, please come by the house to get tacos? You said come by the house to watch a game.
No, for taco night. I've said it multiple times.
Oh, I think you've
And
dreamt that. You've thought to yourself, I should invite Jeff to taco night.
Crap,
I don't
no
think
way.
you've ever invited me to taco
my
night.
God.
When have you said, come on by for tacos?
I'm going to let my fiance know, and she'll tell you.
I think you told her that you told me, but
No.
I don't think the telling ever occurred. Jamie, if you're listening, I have never received an invite to come over for tacos, and I know that they're delicious because Tom raves about them every day he comes in because you guys eat tacos 3 days a week, which I'm not critical
We
of.
do.
I'm not
No, but we got
critical
the good tortillas. They're little guys. They're little
Oh,
45
yeah,
calorie
you don't need
jobbers.
well,
They're
yeah.
Little guys. Yeah. It's
Your
delicious.
flour, right? Not corn?
Yes. Although there is a wheat one that's not that bad. That's also
that's
small.
fine. Yeah.
As long as it has the structural integrity to handle
Yes,
all the
it's got
crap I'm
to.
putting on
It's
it.
got to.
Because it's lettuce, it's pico, it's the meat, it's
I know
jalapenos
I know
freshly
you're
cut.
not putting sour cream on yours, but
Hell
I
to the
would.
no.
I would on mine. Do you put cheese on yours, Tom?
No.
Well, I never know with you because pizza's your favorite food and you hate cheese. So what I'm saying is I would sprinkle. I didn't know if it was the right consistency for you to do it. I would have cheese, sour cream, maybe even some vinegar. Ooh. Definitely jalapenos. Definitely the hot sauce that you're talking about.
The response I got to the invitations for taco night were as follows. They're like, all right, I really appreciate that, man. All right, we'll take you up on that at some point.
I think you
that
thought
happened.
Was this a year ago? I don't think there's been a repeat offer. I think you were so angry at me for turning down the one offer
That's
that
right.
I've never received a second.
I was
I'm not saying you were hurt. I'm saying you were just like, well, screw him.
I was damaged beyond repair.
I'm not saying that. You don't have to go there. What I'm saying is I don't think that there were these repeated offers that you alluded to. I think there was an offer. That might be true.
There was a standing offer for about a year.
A standing offer? You make it sound like every week at a certain time. You told me, remember tonight's
come on,
taco
man, we got
night?
taco night at some point. When Matthew comes back from the land of the nether, he can attest
Is he
as
alive?
well.
Do we know if Matthew exists anymore? Is that? I mean, come on.
He's actually moving during COVID. He's moving tomorrow.
It's not heroic. Let's get into town already, Matthew. At some point, we got to work. Here's what I was going to talk about before Tom stretched the truth by telling me about all these repeated offers of tacos.
We have prevailed with taco night, man. We have prevailed.
So it's happened again, folks. Freaking shoeless Joe Jackson this time. God, dog it. My time will come. It is going to happen. I don't know when. Obviously at a different time than current because nobody's having yard sales or garage sales of any kind right now. Well, and if you are, I don't imagine they're well attended. But at some point when that can be a thing again, I'm going to come across my gold mine in the way of a baseball card. Countless others seem to on a regular basis, the latest of which happened the other day when we weren't on the air because it happened over the weekend. And then, of course, a lot of my listeners being awesome as they are, knowing certain themes on the show over the years, said, here you go, Cameron. There's another one. A North Carolina family, Tom. We start there. Recently, of course they did, unearthed quite the heirloom that had been previously overlooked. Always. It's in some guy's book that his uncle gave him who passed away 15 years ago, and the person that read the book all those years later didn't have an appreciation for baseball, and so they're reading, and they go, oh, look at that old baseball card, and they shove it in the back, and they don't think anything of it, and then 20 years later, somebody goes, do you realize? And then...
Or that person just took it.
Yeah.
It was in my attic. Couldn't believe it.
So here you go. This Carolina family unearthed the family heirloom that had been previously overlooked, a baseball card of the legendary Shoeless Joe Jackson. In 2009, Ben Foster and his father, Hayes, discovered an old baseball card collection in a metal lunch pail that included Roberto Clemente and Sandy Koufax from the 1950s. That in and of itself, I would have been very excited there. Look at this. But somehow, Ben and the dad there completely overlooked the gold standard here and overlooked Shoeless Joe Jackson card. 10 years later, they kind of went back and thought we should take a look at those cards again. Surely those have got to be worth something. And when they did that, one of them noted, oh, wait a minute, that's a minor league baseball card. And then they looked at the name, and it was a minor league baseball card of Shoeless Joe Jackson. And it's a beaut. It's in perfect condition. It's a 1910 card. It depicts him during his stint with Class AA New Orleans, the Pelicans, even back then in 1910. Earlier this week, fast forward again, another year on top of the 10 that went by from the time they found those cards and then decided to take inventory again. Earlier this week, they auctioned off the card. It sold for $500,000. It had a PSA grade of 3.5 out of 10. So not even that good.
And still fetched
$500,000. Son of a bitch.
So here's an ethics question for you. You're at your significant other's home for a house party. Not really fond of that significant other's coworker, right? So it's like their boss or whatever, colleague. You don't really like that person.
Don't care about the person. Right. I was forced to go.
They tell you about all this stuff that they have. Like, I got to get rid of all these things. You leaf through the books, and you find Shoeless Joe Jackson in that book.
Remember, you're talking to the guy that stole quarters from the Miss Pac-Man machine.
Oh, this is a dumb question.
I didn't think twice about it either. I don't even feel that bad about it.
You already left the house. You Irish goodbye with the Joe Jackson card.
All right, so seriously, present that again. Let me really think about what I would do
so
here.
It's Christy's coworker. Okay. They're having a house party.
Does she like that coworker?
Likes them fine. You don't appreciate them.
Okay. Sounds standard.
And you just get in a conversation with like their significant other who you don't really like either. Like, so the coworker's husband,
whatever, right?
Wife.
Nondescript.
And they're like, yeah, take a look at that stuff. I know you're into sports. And then you leaf through the books and I'll be right back. Let me go check on the grill. And there it is.
Shoeless Joe.
I never look at that old box. I don't see, I don't care for sports. And there it is. Shoeless Joe is a bookmark.
I'd let him know because you really can't get away with that. Let's take the other side of it. Let's just say that for whatever reason, I steal the Shoeless Joe Jackson card. I decide this is going home with me. Bob over here doesn't seem to give a damn, doesn't even know what he's got over here. So let's say I'm that kind of callous. I put it in my jean pocket there, and I tell my wife, we got to go. Tell him your stomach hurts. We got to go. Wait till I tell you this. Get in the car. And then she would demand I go tell the people. B, if I tried to sell that card, it would get out that I sold this card for $500,000.
Sure,
and that guy would go, what in the hell? So Jeff just happened. Yeah.
That's when you call me and say, Tom, you found a card. I can't have this come back to me.
Yeah. Well, we would have to get like 6 degrees of separation.
What if I could offer you $200,000 right now?
Yeah.
What would you say to me?
I would still, I'm not that kind of a thief, and I'm not that bad a guy.
It's too big time.
If
there was a roll of quarters in that book, somehow wedged in there, give me the roll of quarters.
They're mine. No, I would say, hey, Bob, dumbass, do you realize that what I think you're sitting on here, if this is not a counterfeit or a fugazi, if this is a real thing, then, my man, you probably got $1 million, $500,000 coming your way. You realize what this is? Freaking Shoeless Joe. 1910. It's a T210. It is actually a T210. I didn't make that up. That's the card.
Would you demand that you were enlisted in the process of, getting this thing sold? Or would you just leave it to Bob to make sure that Bob does the right thing?
I'd like to believe that I would leave it to Bob and make sure Bob does the right thing, and then Bob would do the right thing by coming back and giving me a good chunk of change for having had the honesty and integrity to present to him this thing, this treasure he didn't know he had. He ought to give me all of it, but anyhow.
I can tell you if I was Bob, you'd get a good chunk.
You'd get, what, 10 grand?
3%. No, you get, at least 20.
Well, actually,
at least 20%.
All right, so that's the question. Let's ask that question. What is the right thing to do? If somebody says, Tom Lang, I was reading through this book of yours. I see you have a pristine copy of Catcher in the Rye. And in the back, there's a Shoeless Joe Jackson card. Were you aware of this? Is this your dad's? Where did you get this? Oh, I don't know, Jeff. I did get that from my dad. Maybe he got that from his uncle. I don't know.
Yeah, but is it you or somebody that is, an acquaintance and
it's
not
a
you?
Random Joe who lets you know that you have a freaking card worth about $500,000 here. What percentage should you give him? Let's say the card sells at auction for $500,000.
How much I like the person really would influence that decision. And I've also got to factor in after taxes, right? So it's post-tax. This isn't like they just made $500,000 or whatever. What do they actually see of that money after they got to pay the government? I don't know
how it works with all that. I don't know how much
pay
they
the
get.
Clearinghouse, or they pay the people that
they probably
get.
They'll probably get $400,000, $375,000.
I'd say probably between $250 and $350 after everybody's paid, including taxes.
Jesus, man, if they get screwed to that end, that's ridiculous. But okay.
If it's just a person I don't appreciate, but they
get you a hell of a solid.
It's 20 to 30%. I think you got to give them a huge chunk. I would never have made that money.
If
it's you, 40.
Okay, I like it. All right, that's nice of you. Yeah,
45%. I can't do much more than that.
Yeah, I can't do any better than that. You know how much Matt Kuchar gives him? 0. Here's $50. Here's $50.
Thanks, FO.
Yeah, I do believe Matt Kuchar's like, hey, what do you want from me? I gave you something. I didn't have to give you anything. Here you go, pal.
I got you an Uber gift card.
Here's a hundo. Final hour forthcoming.
Front Row Knowles, featuring Tom Block and Keith Jones, is brought to you by Hobson Chevrolet in Cairo, Georgia. Get your best deal the Hobson way. Catch Front Row Knowles every Wednesday night at 6, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
This spring, I'm making Everyday Earth Day by incorporating small actions that can create big results.
Like what?
Well, I'm starting with daily habits. Turning off the lights every time I leave a room, shutting off the tap when I brush my teeth, and unplugging electronics when I'm not using them.
Those are great ideas our whole family can do.
And since we're home more, I could also use your help with a few one-time projects that could benefit us long-term, like fixing water leaks and installing our rain barrel.
I'd love to help. Right after I call the City of Tallahassee Utilities at 891-4968 to sign up for paperless billing.
Excellent! Tonight, let's ask the kids if they have any ideas about what we can do to save energy, water, and money as we celebrate Earth Day at home.
2020 marks the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and there are many things TLH can do to celebrate at home. Get inspiration at TLHcando.com. Small actions create big results. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities.
Hey guys, how are you? This is Eddie from Gordo's Restaurants and Bumpa's Local 349. I just want to let you guys know that we here in the local community love to have you back. It's 25%, we know, but we're doing the best that we can to serve you and do what we do the way we do it. Same great food, a little bit more space. And we're not the only ones. There's lots of local restaurants out there. Just remember, eat local, drink local, be local. Come see us.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all-day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
Oh yes, you've thought about it, but now it's time to enjoy the moss-drenched live oak, rolling hills, and pristine greens of Southwood Golf Club. Our friends at Southwood Golf Club offer individual, family, and student memberships, and now offer the all-in membership. That's right, never pay a card fee when you play. Don't forget, at Southwood Golf Club, it's not just about the golf. Hit the clubhouse for brunch, or maybe enjoy trivia night, live music, happy hour, and all-you-can-eat night specials too. For membership information or to join right now, just call 850-942-4653. Southwood Golf Club is ready to make you a member. 850-942-4653.
Tallahassee's tastiest jumbo wings are back in force. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is now open daily from 4 to 9 p.m. for all your takeout needs. Enjoy an all-day, everyday special of 10 wings and a basket of fries for just $10. Plus, have the Corner Pocket make you a signature to-go beer or liquor beverage as well. Red Russians, anybody? Just call 574-2724 for your wing order today. That's 574-2724 for the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Or to stop by and order in person, please use the outdoor deck. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachie Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
It's time to head to Cabo's. Cabo's lunch deal menu features a quarter-pound cheeseburger, black bean burger, fried flounder po' boy, or grilled chicken and veggie wrap, plus many more. All include tea or coffee and are just $8.79. Cabo's Island Grill and Bar, located in the Appalachie Parkway Shopping Center.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Planning on expanding or renovating your home or business? Did you know that these construction projects start with preliminary work such as professional sets of drawings and proper engineering? Before you apply for financing or sign a lease agreement, allow our team of contractors, architects, and engineers to assist you with planning and budgeting. Hello, I'm Travis, owner of T-Spark Enterprises, and I am here because we want your project to launch on the right foot. Call us today and we will take care of your construction needs. We aim to provide work that will exceed your expectations, guaranteeing picture-perfect results.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CGC 1525336.
Lane's Medical Shop has all of your home medical needs. They carry home oxygen, hospital beds, nebulizers, walkers, wheelchairs, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and all sleep apnea supplies. Lane's also has a weight loss clinic in-house, no appointment necessary, including B12 injections and any prescriptions necessary with the lowest prices around, and delivers to Tallahassee and South Georgia. Located only 40 miles from Tallahassee, go see Blake today, 210 West Main Street, Colquitt, Georgia, 229-758-9111.
Wash your hands, avoid sick people, and touching your face. There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. Brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
Golick and Wingo.
I get the Eagles draft. I don't have a huge problem with their draft. The Packers, on the other hand, head scratcher. It's not just that they took Jordan Love, but they took a running back in A.J. Dillon, who, by the way, rewrote the record book at Boston College. Did. Will be very productive, I believe, at the next level. But they had Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones. Yeah, Aaron Jones and right. Jamal Williams. To not take a wide receiver in a wide receiver-rich draft is the real issue I have with Green Bay.
How else is Aaron Rodgers supposed to look at this draft and perceive the way the organization thinks about him if you drafted his heir apparent with the first-round pick and then just flat-out refused to get an offensive weapon when he had been on the record like a day before the draft of saying, I think it was on Pat McAfee's radio show, we haven't drafted a skill player in the first round in 15 years. It'd be pretty cool if we went and did that. They do draft a running back in the second round and then proceed to not draft any wide receivers in this draft. How else is Aaron Rodgers supposed to take this other than, well, let's start the clock?
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios in Florida's capital city. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
All programs. This is Radio Clash on Pirate Satellite.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. Hope you guys are doing okay. Are you able to maintain your patience? Not like if you're a doctor and you have patience. Meaning, are you able to be patient with your loved ones, your friends, your family, your kids, co-workers if you're around them? Or are you a little on edge? You're a little quick to snap. Everybody's different every day. Changes. I just like to ask those questions when we start some of these hours because I'm probably taking inventory in my own household as well.
Okay, here are two things that'll make you smile if you were losing your patience or it's long since passed. Doris Burke is thinking about Kawhi Leonard's hands right now and smiling.
Again, yeah, absolutely.
And Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K himself, is pissed off because his integrity is being called into question.
Without question. That is happening for sure. And he is sitting around stewing over it. He thinks that's a more egregious transgression than the victims who have fallen to the coronavirus pandemic.
I don't know if I go that far.
Oh, I would. He's like, well, this is ridiculous.
I mean, if I have to method act, I can go there and be that kind of evil. But
I think he would. Hey, I want to really quick say thanks to at the Mike Green 54 who tweeted at me yesterday because you gave me a reason to watch Shade Tree hit Larry Jones, Marvin Jones hitting Larry Jones in the famed hit that has been literally made into a poster and that I have in my garage. Just the absolute devastation across the middle. A hit that would have been flagged today, and he probably would have been thrown out of the game. Although I've watched it at very slow speed time and again. I'm like, that is a perfect hit.
Those shoulder pads should have been flagged. It's ridiculous.
They're mountainous.
It's like umbrellas on each arm.
Yeah, they're mountainous. But, I think they probably did a lot to soften the blow. And anyhow, it's a beautiful hit. And I watched it probably about 10 times last night and then showed my kids and said, this is when the men played the game right here. Here we go. This should never be flagged under any circumstance. That quarterback should be kicked out of the game for that throw.
This is the first lesson I took from watching some of the old FSU games, and it's probably time to circle back and do a few more of those. God knows the ACC network won't put actual classic Florida State games on its way back when stuff. Instead, by all means, give me 2017 Boston College FSU, which really...
What in the world?
That game isn't even a turning point for Boston College as a football program. All it is an ass-kicking in the end of the Jimbo Fisher era. So is that what you want on the best of the ACC? Fine. But the thing I noticed about the late 80s and early 90s, speed of the game, I mean, guys getting from point A to point B, it's not all that dissimilar to now.
No, yeah, actually, we got asked that question. By the way, we're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you get to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. But if you do, we got you covered. All 3 hours going to be posted upon the conclusion of the show, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. YouTube still works as a way to listen to the program. Still not doing the video for that. And we appreciate you rating and reviewing and sharing and all that good stuff. Somebody asked, because they heard us talking about this, and I think this was last week, when we were going back and watching the old games, where would the line of delineation be? Where would you cut it off? Like what season or two? And I don't know if that it's a singular season, but you'd be able to probably grab an era or a 5-year stretch where you'd say, demonstrably, things have changed in the game from, say, 80 to 85. They don't look anything like they did from 86 to 90, or 86 to 90 begins to be a sequence of events that show you that not only is strategy shifting as to how to play the game, but then that strategy shifting leads to sport-specific or position-specific parameters where players begin to change the way they play the game and change their body in order to fit what's needed with the way the game's being called now.
Just by watching some of the classic games, I think the point of delineation is not far from where you're talking.
That's why I chose it.
Yeah, the mid-'80s. I mean,
yeah.
But even the late 80s, early 90s, you can see specialization is not there. The game in general, I don't think, is as popular. So you don't have as many kids growing up playing it younger and being trained how to play. I get that college football has always been popular in swaths of the country.
Yeah.
But like if you're looking at the 70s and even a good portion of the 80s, there's a few power programs, and then they're the power ones and the ones with a tradition. But now you have the renaissance in the state of Florida. By the time you get to 1990, you've got Florida State, Miami, and Florida's emerging with Steve Spurrier in the next couple of years once he leaves Duke. I mean, it's more popular in more places. By the time you get to about 1995, that I think specialization is starting to set in to where, it went from my childhood on.
It is funny how aspects of play calling come and go and come again. What's old or what's new is old and then new again. You see that. We even see it now in the larger discussion about would Charlie Ward have been drafted in the first round after the college career that he had, prolific as it was, and given what we now see with the likes of a Lamar Jackson or a Patrick Mahomes. Although I think that comparison's unfair. Patrick Mahomes slings it in a way that Charlie never could.
Right.
And really, Patrick throws it around the way very few can, period. I think...
Maybe Kyler Murray for Charlie Ward?
Maybe, yeah. Charlie's bigger, taller, but yeah, maybe. Kyler, a little bit more quick twitch, I think. God.
Imagine if Charlie was in that Lincoln Riley system, though.
Oh, he would have put up numbers. Everybody does. Whether they're as athletic as Kyler Murray or not. I mean, Baker Mayfield put up huge numbers, and he's certainly not as athletic as Kyler Murray. Everybody that's come down the pike has put up numbers in that offense, especially in that conference. But I would say that, yeah, the game shifted enough that Charlie might have. That's the other thing, by the way, while we're on the subject. When you go back and watch the 94 draft, one of the things you realize is that, again, Charlie's stance that I can't guarantee you that I am going to be in your camp if you draft me because I'm going to wait to see what happens with the NBA, and if they take me in the first round, I may go to the NBA. Well, once he said that, most of the teams washed their hands of Charlie Ward. They at that point, they wanted no part, and if they did, they were considering him in the 6th or 7th round. They were considering him very, very late. Let's take a flyer. I mean, what are we really going to get here anyhow? Let's take him and see. Maybe he comes and maybe we get incredible value on Charlie Ward, who just led his team to a national championship victory and won the Heisman. But had he never said that, and had he said, I want to play football and only football, and I'm not going to play NBA basketball, Charlie would have gone. There were teams, the Minnesota Vikings being one of them, that really liked him. Charlie probably would have gone in the first 2 rounds, maybe even in the first round. But he would have. Now, maybe at the end of the first round or somewhere in the second. But once he said that and you couldn't know that you weren't wasting your first-round draft pick or second-round draft pick, then people were like, well, we're done here. That's the end of that. And then the NBA became an option, and Charlie took it. And you know what? He had a lengthy, successful career in the NBA, so it made sense to him.
It's the greater testament to his athleticism. As great as his Florida State legacy is, that you can go from being primarily known for football to being a starter in the NBA. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, and to play as long as he did for many different teams, like to be able to do that, obviously you have to have value. People don't just sign you to sign you. You have to bring something to them. Even if it's 8 minutes off the bench, you still have to be amongst the elite of the elite of the elite to play, to be on the rosters are so small. To be on a basketball team, you've got to be able to provide something. So he had a long career, which suggests, like you said, that he made the right decision and that he was an incredible athlete. Anybody that gets drafted in 2 sports or could have played in 2 sports like that or did in any case. I mean, when you go back and look at what Dave Winfield could have done and how he was drafted in multiple sports, and you see, I'd forgotten, it was on over the weekend, MLB Network's doing a real good job of playing old games and also showing, like the NFL Network, any number of wonderful, like, pseudo-documentaries or recaps of decades and eras. I forgot Tony Gwynn was a really good college basketball player at San Diego State. Was really good. he was a point guard, and he was a good one. And they showed the footage of him lighting it up against Arizona. He had like 18 points and 10 assists. You're like, you're like, look at this, Tony Gwynn. Because you see him, and even when you look at him in that footage, you realize to look at him would have never revealed the prowess he had in either sport. You look at him, you're like, that doughy, kind of nondescript looking guy. If anything, he looks like he's out of shape and needs to get it together.
Yeah, exactly.
And then turns out, obviously, he was an incredible athlete. Eye-hand coordination for days. To listen to him talk about hitting is a lot of fun as well, because you can tell he gave it a lot of thought. There was a real passion to it. His understanding of some of the principles Ted Williams laid out and his excitement when he got to meet him and talk baseball with him and talk hitting with him. It's not unlike what you see when some of the younger golfers, one of the great things to appreciate about a Tiger Woods, and I think it always adds to somebody's legacy if they've done this and if they reveal that knowledge. It's one thing to be that talented, right? I never like to diminish one's hard work. I don't like the phrase necessarily. It doesn't piss me off either. But I don't like when people say, well, that's just God-given talent. Or he worked really hard. Well, why don't we go that route? Why don't we just go with the fact that so-and-so worked really, 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 really hard? Because to me, you're just diminishing somebody's acumen or prowess of a sport when you say, oh, he was just gifted it. Well, genetics certainly plays a part. I mean, Michael Jordan being 6'6" helped him be a very good basketball player. I dare say if Mike had all the same skills but was a mere 5'7", things wouldn't have worked out as well. So, yeah, genetics plays a part in it. But usually you find out along the way countless hours were spent not only working on the craft, but studying those that came before and did it really well so that you could glean and learn something from them. And when Tiger Woods, early on, after realizing he was sort of a prodigy, revealed the knowledge he had of the history of the game, not just Jack's records, but all the records and who owned them and why and what they did well and what their golf swing entailed and the magical rounds they possessed and the biggest moments of the greatest tournaments ever played. He could recite them off the top of his head. And I always admire that. And you see it with Tony Gwynn talking about the great hitters of yesteryear when he's being interviewed. He's like, well, as it pertains to the inside pitch, Ted Williams always said, and then he would just recite it. And I thought, that's fantastic. And a lot of great golfers can do it, whether it's Ben Hogan or Jack or whomever they're referencing. I love that. And I think sometimes you see it, too, with the greatest players. Peyton Manning did it in all those specials. His knowledge of the history of the quarterback position and really the game of football shines through.
Well, there's a good one that aired over the weekend, I think, and it was Peyton and Joe Namath. And it's the Super Bowl special talking about the history of the American Football League, NFL, and how it was Dallas Love Field Airport where the secret meeting took place for the Super Bowl to happen. And that's why there's a statue of, forget who it is, Tex whatever, wearing a cowboy hat in the baggage claim area. Tex Schramm. In the baggage claim area of Love Field. And Peyton was asking random people, like, do you know who this is? Why this is here?
Do you know why it's here? Yeah.
This is here because this is where the Super Bowl started. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he's watching Super Bowl III with Joe Namath, like on the original film that was donated to the NFL. And so Joe's like blown away, first of all, that they have the original film.
Which is cool. Yeah.
And it's considered the game that saved the Super Bowl because it was NFL blowouts over the AFL the 2 years prior. And they're going through all these concepts on offense, and you talk about what is old is new again. So Don Shula's defense, the Colts defense, would load up and blitz like crazy. And all they were doing, all Namath was doing was checking at the line, and he'd find the hot, a little flare route or a quick little hitch or something along those lines, a quick slant, where against the blitz. So he'd throw actually to the side where they weren't. They'd run it where they weren't, and then they'd throw quick little flare routes into the teeth of the blitz or where they found a one-on-one matchup they liked. But it was hardly an offensive scheme that was devised by the coordinator. Namath was just getting to the line and saying,
nope, they're coming.
Okay, there's your weakness. I'm going to throw it over here, which is what Peyton Manning did all the damn time. And that's crazy. What's old is new again. Now, was Namath as good as Peyton? Hell no. But on that day, Namath had such command of everything that was before him, and that's why as 19-point underdogs, they won that game.
Well, it's interesting, too. I think we get into the larger question, and it's usually futile to compare eras and generations. We want to do that, especially in modern times. We seem to compare everybody's career to somebody else's career, to some other era, this team to that team. Could they have played? Would they have won? And a lot of times that's just simply not fair. But I have a bad habit of dismissing certain players, especially quarterbacks. I think to hear you talk about it, I dismiss certain quarterbacks from bygone eras as really being overrated. So I, for example, would say something outrageous like Terry Bradshaw would have been a butt-ass average quarterback in the NFL today. Wasn't particularly smart, had a big arm, but wasn't uniquely gifted.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But what you find out is to hear it told by the people of that time and the players of that era, and then even those later on who followed them but bothered to reach back and get to know those guys and talk to them about their skill. You find out that, maybe many of us, and I'll just say I certainly fall under this umbrella, are too quick to diminish the talents of those that came before. I'm not saying you're doing that, but what I am saying is, like, because sports-specific training and nutrition and bigger, stronger, faster and all that. The fact is, though, what's interesting about Joe Namath is that in his early days, even going back to at Alabama, one of the number one things described about him was the sound of the ball when it came out of his hands and the quick release. So he's a clunky-looking athlete with bad knees and not a lot of muscle tone. You watch the footage because it wasn't emphasized back then in terms of weightlifting and all of that, especially not for quarterbacks. So you look at the footage of the guy and you go, that guy? Man, I don't know, that guy would have made it in this era. But then what you do realize is it is very specific to the position. So do you have the release? Do you have the arm strength? If the answer is yes, and he's 6'3", so he's big enough, right? If the answer is yes to that, all the other stuff he would have adapted to. The being bigger, eating correctly, working out year-round, he would have adapted to.
Yeah, and he'd be smarter because he has the examples of the generations past. But the one thing I'll say about Namath is he is a unique example because he completed 50.1% of his passes in his career, and he threw a $173 touchdowns against 220 picks.
Yeah, no.
He's largely a negative player in a lot of regards, but he's known, and he's a Hall of Famer for the moment.
For that moment, but also when he first came on the scene, everybody noted that the ball sounded differently and he was a gunslinger and he had a lot of good seasons, but those numbers are all relative. They really are. The way the game was played, what was valued, the running game was valued above all else. You won the game because you ran the ball and you played good defense. And that's every coach in the league at that time. And nobody's slinging it around the lot. It's like Johnny Unitas. Go look at his numbers. For a while there, I'd be like, what's the big deal about Johnny Unitas? But then person after person after person that either was of the era or came after that went back to learn, talked to coaches and people who watched him play, including old men that are still around who saw Johnny Unitas. They'll say, well, he was uniquely different. Nobody threw the ball the way he threw the ball. Nobody took the chances down the field like he did. So relative to the offenses that were being run at that time, he was truly special. Even if it didn't translate into numbers that are in any way comparable of the modern era, because they're not. You'll get Marino's numbers and you'll get Unitas numbers. You're like, well, what are we doing here? One guy was elite all time. It is transcendent. And the other, he just played a different game than some of the other people who handed it off 40 times a game and threw it 10. But those people who watched him throw a football say nobody else threw a football like him at that time. And that's where I come back and correct myself and say, well, if he's big and strong and he had a unique release and he could really whistle it,
then he could be Jay Cutler.
Well, he would have probably adapted the mentality, the mindset, right? Yeah, Jeff George had the biggest arm of all time and was an average ass to poor quarterback. We're still waiting to see if Jameis becomes great or is he just another average quarterback over the years that did some good things. We'll wait and see. We don't know, but we know big, strong, big arm, all of that is there. So just having the skill set doesn't necessarily mean you go on or would have adjusted, but you would have had the chance to. And so therefore I can't just dismiss you as, well, the numbers aren't there. It's a different game. You would have never made it. They might have made it. The only guy that we all universally agree would have made it in today's game, Jim Brown. Like when you look at Jim Brown, everybody's like, oh, yep, that would have worked. Built, he was a V. He was 200 and something pounds. He was an all-world athlete, ran over people, was considered the greatest lacrosse player to ever play. That kind of athleticism.
Violent as hell.
Yeah. That would have translated. He'd run over bitches today, too. Big hand, strong guy.
I hear you on a lot of the NFL quarterback examples. Namath's career is more of a one-hit wonder.
I'm not saying Joe Namath would have been an elite player in today's era. I am saying, though, when I went back and looked at him and watched those specials, everybody said the ball sounded different coming out of his hand all the way back to high school. People were like, oh, you should have seen Joe Namath throw a football. That's how he was kind of fawned over by all the universities. Like Alabama came calling because that arm was a rocket. And I think he probably would have made better decisions, A, if he had been on more consistently better teams, and B, if the emphasis had been on other things.
That's to say nothing of social media was around when Joe Namath was rising to prominence. I don't know if he would have made it because of that.
Well, that's also part of the larger conversation centering around The Last Dance. Like, I think of that every time I watch The Last Dance. I'll mention it again here in a second. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Barry knows school, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows school, you can put him to the test.
Your home has been a place of great comfort. We can help you keep it that way. Barno Heating and Air is helping you get ready for summer with $1,500 off select new units, 0% financing for qualified buyers, plus worry-free maintenance plans. Learn more or schedule online at BarnoAC.com. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barno Heating and Air today. Florida license CAC 1816186.
With a Bojangles 3-piece Chicken Supreme snack, you get a plate of bold, boneless chicken and a hot, fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit for just $3.99. Or, if you'd rather 2 pieces of bone-in fried chicken with a biscuit and a fixin', don't you worry, because that's $3.99 too. It's such a good deal, you can knock out dinner and balance your budget in one fell swoop. Because if you're going to take out 2 birds with 1 stone, they ought to be delicious. Bojangles. It's bow time.
Attention Tallahassee, Phase 1 is Phase Patio at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Starting Monday, the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill will be serving up the coldest, crispest refreshments and their signature delicious jumbo wings, all while adhering to responsible social distancing. You know this is the best time of the year to sit on the outdoor patio or deck, so make the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachia Parkway your first and most frequent stop for Phase Patio. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Order takeout today at cptallybar.com. That's cptallybar.com. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Hey guys, how are you? This is Eddie from Gordo's Restaurants and Bumpa's Local 349. I just want to let you guys know that we here in the local community love to have you back. It's 25%, we know, but we're doing the best that we can to serve you and do what we do the way we do it. Same great food, a little bit more space. And we're not the only ones. There's lots of local restaurants out there. Just remember, eat local, drink local, be local. Come see us.
You've known for a while now that the best place to grab lunch in downtown Tallahassee is Metro Deli. But did you know that Metro Deli is now offering its own online grocery list? That's right. Head to MetroDeliTally.com today to check out all of the best offerings of meats, cheeses, breads, egg salad, tuna salad, signature dishes, and more from your friends at Metro Deli. Metro Deli, more than just a lunch shop, now your corner deli market. Head to MetroDeliTally.com today to support those who support local hospitality workers during the COVID-19 crisis.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Chris Cody and Billy Gill had an interaction where Chris Cody, for some reason, just said, Billy, Cavalieri, Cutler, splits, and evidently Billy is very Cavalieri.
Oh, I was very Cavalieri. I was very Jay. I was very... I don't know how much of a fan of Taylor I was. She was okay, but not, it was okay. Listen, I was more of a fan of the show season 1 than season 2 came around, and if I'm going to be honest with you, season 2, a lot of people started getting very Cavalieri, and I was a little less Cavalieri than very Cavalieri. I'd say I was mildly Cavalieri at the time, and I need to catch up to get more Cavalieri, but right now I'm so Cavalieri, I'd say.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Billy.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
So, one thing we do know is all of this stuff we've watched on The Last Dance would be decidedly different, or would have even turned out decidedly different had social media existed in the 90s, whether it's the first three-peat or the second. The stuff about Rodman, for example, would have been covered very differently, including not just erratic, but irresponsible behavior like we see in the documentary where he's just downing a beer as he hops on a motorcycle and drives away. Like, that would not have flown, understandably. There is video footage of that. That was the first I had seen it. Had there been social media at the time, that would have blown up. Like, what are you doing? You letting that guy walk out of a bar, grab a beer, hop on a bike, and drive away? Not going to work. He'd have been suspended. The league would have suspended him.
Oh, definitely. I think I remember that footage of him at least jumping on the bike, but I don't know if he had a beer in his hand leaving the United Center.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But also there's the time that he gets on the bike in Vegas with all the bikers that he's partying with, and they're drinking and riding out on their motorcycles. I'm like, that probably would not have worked, you know? No. But that's like one thing, and obviously people would have been there with cameras to capture some of the more outrageous stuff. You and I talked about that before with the Carmen Electra stuff, like, whatever, it's he on a date with Carmen Electra or having a good time with Carmen Electra. It's a whole nother when you watch them doing illicit drugs at a Vegas bar with other people, right? That Stern would have been forced to suspend him. And just the way that the average player is so dissected, every single move they make every day by all of the talk shows and the 24-hour cycles that are required to be filled. Any little thing you do, LeBron's every move, Kobe's every move, well, maybe Kobe's at the end of his career a little bit, but certainly LeBron's and Wade's and Steph Curry's and all the Westbrooks. KD. I mean, all those moves are analyzed, hyper-analyzed, and analyzed above and beyond what's even reasonable in any way. And then that has an impact on what they choose to do and how they choose to live and what they want to be seen and not seen and what they say and how they go online and present themselves and images that are created by companies that pay them millions of dollars that tell them what they have to do in order to adhere to this Instagram live feed we're going to run or whatever it might be. I do wonder about that all the time. Like you said about Joe Namath, that would have been covered very differently.
Yeah.
I do wonder, what would it have derailed the ability for the Bulls to go on the run that they did? I'm not saying it would have; it just would have been covered differently.
No, they never would have gotten to the second three-peat because Rodman would have been a non-starter at that point. He would have either reformed or he would have been expelled from the league because I'm sure that there would have been gobs of evidence, and he's not going to slow down. He isn't right now when we're in the era of social media. I don't think he would have. And then also, I don't think that Jerry Krause would have survived.
No, he definitely would not have.
Because of the parsing of every word of a general manager or a coach these days, he would have been smoked out a lot earlier in his career as the general manager. And so, and Reinsdorf would have been under public pressure to get rid of him because it would have been superstar versus general manager. They're at odds. I wonder how the Doug Collins transition would have gone. Michael would have backed Doug more publicly if there was social media. I don't have any doubt about that.
Yeah, I think that's fascinating, right? Because he did say that he was against the move, and it worked out. He ended up loving Phil, and Phil went on to win championship after championship.
All it would take is one tweet backing Doug Collins, and that plays out differently. Whether it still happens, but Michael now has harder feelings because it's echoed over itself, again and again and again.
Well, that's the part of it, right? Is that even when you try to get away from something, if you're a player and you want to hyper-focus. You hate social media, and look, I make enough money. I don't need the extra money we're going to make on Instagram, and I don't care about shaping my image. I'm just here to play basketball. But one thing you can't escape is all of the people who consume that, watch that, listen to that, hear every word of Max and Stephen A. or whatever else it might be, who then turn around and tell you, and this is what they were talking about today. Mm-hmm. They said last night you were soft because you passed in that moment that was, whatever it would be.
I wonder if in an honest moment Stephen A. realizes that the Bulls would have never gotten to that level had a media type like him been around in that moment. Because they fuel it, man. They fuel that conversation. ESPN uses it and puts it on all their platforms.
Yeah.
You allow for that conversation to happen daily about the Bulls, and Stephen A. is spearheading the latest information on that? That team can't exist for the second run. I mean, think about what would have happened when Michael retired. Holy cow, they thought they had a lot of media in Birmingham then.
Yeah, I do think, on the one hand, you're right. They couldn't. The run would not have looked the same way if it could exist. And B, you're right, it would have been derailed. Various parts of it would have been derailed. Although I would argue that there may have been an opportunity for them to win in total, maybe not in succession, more titles, because he wouldn't have felt forced out of the game. He wouldn't have been as burned out. He wouldn't have been, because he would, in my mind, all the fighting with Reinsdorf wouldn't have existed, or Krause. It would have never existed on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, that's true. But if he's burned out by being a superstar with no social media, what would he have been with social media?
Right, but because social media exists and because celebrity is very different now than it was then, you would not have had he would not have been, shocked by the sudden shift, because this is just what it is now. And also, I would argue there would have been less media there now because everything is just used from a source and spread across the networks anyhow. You don't need 17 news anchors there. You can take the coverage from the national feed and run it on your nightly news locally. There were 15 Chicago reporters alone covering the Bulls.
Sure, yeah.
That was the only way to disseminate the information.
Yeah, you wouldn't have the newspapers. You know the hard part is about all this? Well, that media culture you're talking about, that's going to change because of what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you have a pre-social media time, then you have a social media time, then you have social media after COVID time. And what the hell is that going to look like as we cover things? Access-wise, you think we're getting in locker rooms ever again? I think it's going to be a long time before anybody's ever allowed in a locker room again.
Yeah, I won't make absolute statements. I won't make statements that we will or will not be doing something ever again right now in terms of covering. But yes, I think you're right about the immediate future. No, I don't believe the beat is going to be hanging out watching practices the way we were just most recently allowed to.
Also, can I just say the locker room is always an overrated experience.
I've
been in like 5 of them, and I think it's stupid.
It is stupid. Covering practice is not stupid, though, and let's hope that returns. You can do that responsibly. Yeah, if you're going to play football, you're going to play football.
You know what I'd do if I was Coach Norvell and they wanted to allow the media access? It's really easy.
Baseball stadium.
Yeah, I used to do that with Willie's practices when they were open.
Yeah, baseball stadium.
Just the standing
spread
rail.
Out up there. Yeah,
you got plenty of space.
Get your binoculars. I rather enjoyed being down on the sideline, but I get it. I'll have to make the shift like everybody else will. There you go, Coach. Make sure you keep those doors open. We'll go watch it from the baseball
to
stadium.
Hauser.
Yeah, good times. Can we get the beer flowing over at Hauser while we watch the practices? That'd be cool.
I mean, there could always be a stash.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Hey, check underneath the back row in this section. There might be something there for you.
Jeff Cameron Show.
Can I play with madness? Holy Jesus.
Hey, everybody, it's good news, and we could use some good news right about now. Getting family dinners to go with curbside pickup at Bumpa's, well, it's easy to do, and it's all day, every day. You're going to want to pay with a credit card, bring your own PIN to sign the receipt, and they want to thank you, so do I, for supporting your local restaurants when they need it most. By the way, if you call, it's 850-999-8652. And here's Rick Pitino to give you the menu items.
Pasta alla vodka. You get chicken, garlic bread, and it's a nice round price. Secondly, you got 20 wings. You got chicken fingers too, fries, onion rings on the side. Nice, also good for the family of 4. 2 racks of ribs with mac and cheese and broccoli. You could sub in some fries or rings if you want instead too, but those racks of ribs, absolutely delicious. Just beautiful.
Or you can order, Rick, from the regular menu. It's bumpus349.com.
The whole shebang.
And now, an ad from Dad.
All right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Can I take these off? All right. What is this? This looks good. Wow. That's well made. Where did you get this? I'm talking to you with the hair. Yeah, where did you get this? It's good stuff. That's solid. That's not veneer, that's solid stuff.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
With a Bojangles 3-piece chicken supreme snack, you get a plate of bold, boneless chicken and a hot, fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit for just $3.99. Or, if you'd rather 2 pieces of bone-in fried chicken with a biscuit and a fixin', don't you worry, because that's $3.99 too. It's such a good deal, you can knock out dinner and balance your budget in one fell swoop. Because if you're going to take out 2 birds with 1 stone, they ought to be delicious. Bojangles. It's bow time.
This spring, I'm making Everyday Earth Day by incorporating small actions that can create big results.
Like what?
Well, I'm starting with daily habits, turning off the lights every time I leave a room, shutting off the tap when I brush my teeth, and unplugging electronics when I'm not using them.
Those are great ideas our whole family can do.
And since we're home more, I could also use your help with a few one-time projects that could benefit us long-term, like fixing water leaks and installing our rain barrel.
I'd love to help. Right after I call the City of Tallahassee Utilities at 891-4968 to sign up for paperless billing.
Excellent! Tonight, let's ask the kids if they have any ideas about what we can do to save energy, water, and money as we celebrate Earth Day at home.
2020 marks the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and there are many things TLH can do to celebrate at home. Get inspiration at TLHCanDo.com. Small actions create big results. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities.
Attention Tallahassee, Phase 1 is Phase Patio at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill will be serving up the coldest, crispest refreshments and their signature delicious jumbo wings, all while adhering to responsible social distancing. You know this is the best time of the year to sit on the outdoor patio or deck, so make the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill on Appalachie Parkway your first and most frequent stop for Phase Patio. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Order takeout today at cptallybar.com. That's cptallybar.com. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios in Florida's capital city. This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
About to do that just now. Wrapping it up, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. And what, all of you, does your night entail? Streets are busier. People are back out. Our feeling that things were moving in that direction, I think, is being backed up by the fact that driving down the road has changed. Speaking of being mobile, my trip home, my trek in, all of that has shifted. I would think, it is anecdotal, that we're looking at double the traffic we had when this first started, when the shelter-at-home order was given. I think plowing ahead is sort of the attitude here that we're seeing in this community and really, frankly, all over the country. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, and I'm just letting you know that seems to be the general observation here.
People need to work to live.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's going on. People are trying to work to live.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because the look of agitation, it's like, I can be out. What are you doing out? Which makes me smile. We talk about the psychological impacts of all this. You'll see a lot of this for some time to come. To the point to where how close can you stand? I had occasion to head over to a certain hardware store 3 different times yesterday after the show, and to and from the house. And that was interesting just to watch. Like, I have to get to this aisle. I see you're in that aisle. I'll wait you out over here while you get your nuts and bolts and whatever else it is you need. I'd like you to do it in a timely fashion, or else I'll have to devise a way to get around you and get to where I need to go. But watching the dance that takes place, the ballet of people in these various places, it's like acceptable that we're out, but I'd like you to stand over there. It's funny to watch. That'll be a ongoing thing and dilemma for a lot of folks for the foreseeable future.
So we get our groceries pre-picked out for us and just, thrown to the back of the car, pay the extra couple of bucks for that. But I go to one of the wholesale stores here in town, as a lot of people do, and it's 80 to 90% people wearing masks. I'd say maybe even 90 might be a little light. But you're right. Even these are huge aisles, much like a hardware store, in fact. And you got your carts and people are carrying around heavy, to scale items. And there still is this calculation that goes on. It's like, all right, this person's going slow. I need to get around them. However, that person is 20 feet away and approaching in the other direction. If it was a 1 lane each way highway. Yeah. So I guess I gotta drift back and I gotta wait. And then I can pounce and get around and get to where I need to go.
We're like air traffic controllers. It's the longitude and the latitude. We're kind of like, okay, well, I can make a little maneuver here, and I'm still 8 feet. We're good to go. Now I'm in the cereal aisle. Bam! It's fun to watch.
And then upon exiting this store, you have to present your receipt as you go out and to watch people space automatically, before they get to the attendant to present the receipt so they can scan it and say, all right, you're not stealing anything. All right, get out of here. But people stop short. It would be like at a red light, car stopping with a lot of room in between.
Stop short,
car in front of it.
I find it hilarious because for a long time, and I guess it continues now, for a very long time, the debate about whether you should wear a mask, whether I should wear a mask, should we leave the mask to the healthcare workers that need it more than we need it on the front lines? You've had an array of answers, and it's changed and it's shifted over time depending on the status of said masks. We have enough of them. We don't have enough of them. Everything gets contradicted, and I don't blame people for being so angry. I just saw the video of Dr. Fauci saying, yeah, the masks really don't do anything. I was like, oh, okay. That's good. He's given an interview, and he's like, to be honest with you, it may catch a droplet, but in terms of the general public, the masks really don't. Just make people feel better. Really doesn't do anything. We need to let people feel like they're doing something. Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. And then for healthcare workers who are encountering these patients on an hourly basis, yes, it's good. But for you and me and the general public, not likely to really help or hurt you either way. It's like, good. Next week he's going to say it's vital we all wear masks.
The next hour, yes. Yeah, for me, what I find, well, first of all, I do it to put other people at ease. I'll be fine. I am fine. I've forgotten it once or twice, and it's not the end of the damn world for me. I don't go, oh God, no. I didn't bring the mask.
I didn't wear mine into the hardware store yesterday.
But I get allergy shots once a week.
If you're going to be in close proximity
to people. Plus, considering where I'm going, it's an allergy and asthma place.
Sure,
asthma is an at-risk population.
Yeah.
Probably trying to do the right thing as best as possible. If it helps 1%, then that 1%'s worth it. If I'm going to be in close quarters with somebody in a store, if it makes them feel better, and to that end, one thing I can tell you is, in talking to people, so if it's like a worker at a store, the best thing you can do for them? Have a calm voice when you talk to them. Because you can watch on their shoulders. They release the tension. Everybody is tense to talk to each other in these public settings. But if they're like, hello, and you say, hey, man, how you doing? Like you did 3 months ago. It's amazing the responses you get, the warm responses of like, well, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Hanging the hell in there. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay. You can see it. people are on edge when they're engaging each other. But if you can be calm around them, they're going to be calm around you.
I tend to take the approach, and you're right about that, by the way. It is sort of easing tensions just to have a cordial interaction. But, you know, what I constantly try to look for when it comes to coming out of a certain time, like we are with this, the things that are changed and are going to remain that way for the better. You know, this has all led to something that I think will stay in place moving forward that probably should have been in place a long time ago. It really is, like, if you're at any of the major stores with the plexiglass thing there, that should have probably been there a long time ago. I mean, that's not a big deal to me, and you can still interact with the person and talk to them. They've got it set up differently depending on the store that you're in. But, you know, as we talked about before, I don't know that we're going to continue to need tape. Maybe we will. Some people are stupid. But I always gave the dude in front of me or the woman in front of me enough space to put their groceries on the bed.
Absolutely.
I mean, what are we doing?
No, it was more than just about the dividing rod,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
On the assembly line there.
Yeah, I gave you. I don't need you. I had a lady the other day do it. I was like, really? Are you just... You're not picking up the clues here? Not that I'm nervous, but you don't need to be all up on me. Why are you doing that? Like, it's not going to make it any quicker for you to get through this line.
Yeah, I always felt that way. I always try to give people some space, like whether it's at a theme park, which I know that scares people outright right now, but whether it's at a theme park and you're in a line, like you don't walk right up on the people while you're waiting to get on the roller coaster.
What's the point of that?
Right. It's only if it's like pouring and you've got an overhang.
Yeah,
all right,
right,
maybe you try and do the right thing by everybody so a few more people can get in undercover, or you're waiting for like the water taxi at Epcot. That happened once. I mean, just a terrible storm, and the guys, the boat captain's like, folks, I understand, but can you please, look at these people out here. They're just dying. They're wearing it.
Yeah.
Can we get them
Can
underneath?
we get them under here? Yeah.
Okay, in that situation. Other than that, though, when people get up on me, and usually it was different countries' cultures. Like, you get to different places around the world value space very differently. That was when you don't rock back and forth, but you just kind of flare the elbows out and create space, maybe stretch a little bit, like, oh, man, because you got to create that space.
Violation of personal space is my wife's biggest pet peeve. It really pisses her off when people don't get it or are incapable of reading body language. This is long before the current set of circumstances.
It's the Seinfeld close talker.
Yeah. That's a toughie.
Close talkers are.
That is a toughie.
They're out there.
And you always wondered, like, how's that possible? You're not uncomfortable being this close to me? It's not just about you to me. It's me to you. Why are we this close? Why are we this close? It's not necessary.
So when you were raised and your parents were waking you up out of bed, they were nose to nose with you? You open your eyes and they're just right there?
So this is comforting to be this close? Like you feel good? It's just like when Daddy woke you up in the morning? Oh, I lack bedside manner, which you know when it comes to wanting people to get up, and that's a strange statement to make. Somebody might think, why would Tom know? Well, Tom would know because we've had to room together on the road before for sporting events, and I'm an early riser. I get lonely. I want others to wake up with me.
Yeah, it's great. I'm glad that I'm wanted, but there's a big city outside.
I let you sleep, Tommy. It's 7:30. Let's go. That's back in the day when you were a sleep till noon guy.
Yeah.
And so, for me, I let you sleep. It's nearly 8. The day's getting away from us. And that incredulous look on your face.
Go explore it, man. I'm gonna hit the snooze button. Go explore the day.
But my son, my oldest, who obviously, like all of your kids out there, practicing distance learning, as they're calling it, and it sucks. And again, I've echoed that sentiment on the show countless times since we've had to do this. I feel for you guys out there. Believe us, we're going through it too in the Cameron household every day. You'd think it'd get easier. You'd think that at some point your kids would adapt and move on. I tell them all the time, you guys would be dead. This is if this was the wilderness and you had to adapt to move on and overcome these things that you find to be frustrating, you wouldn't have made it. You'd have been eaten, whatever. But, because every morning it's like, why am I having to scratch your head to wake you up? Do I have to go get that cold cup of water? What do I got to do here? Let's go. And I'm the worst at it. Christy's much better at it. She's the mom.
You've never used a cold cup of water, have you?
I've threatened it. No, but I haven't done it. I've never done it.
You've threatened it?
Oh, it's going to happen at some point, I can tell you. Bryce is 12. I'm sure by the time he's 14, he will have worn a cup of cold water. It's going to happen.
Did that ever happen to you?
No, but I'll do it.
Why would you devise such a thing? That is cruel.
I've got no time. You get the hell up. it's ridiculous. Now, I give you several chances. It's not like I'm just going to walk in and go, hey, get you some of that. No, I walk in, I open the window shade, I turn on the light. Okay, here we go. Let's start the process. It's after this hour, whatever it is, usually for me, 10 a.m. Like, what are we doing here? This is ridiculous. It's 10 a.m. And, and now if you're up late, we're watching a movie, it's a Friday night, we all stay up as a family till 12:30 or 1 o'clock, and you want to sleep till 11 because you're a growing young man, sure. I don't care. And you don't have any schoolwork or anything to catch up with, fine. But a normal weeknight, when we go to bed at a reasonable hour and you got 10 hours of sleep, there's no reason for you to still be in bed, especially not after I've turned on the light, opened the shade, scratched your back, told you to get up.
I would not have liked that. See, when I was a kid, my parents' first floor, I was on the second floor, so they just yell up. And you get up.
Oh, but the yelling up is not going to get him up, I can promise you.
Oh, I would not have liked if my mom or dad just walked into my room cavalierly and said, it's time to go. Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah, no, first I open the door. It's a very gradual process. I'm actually the nicest father in the world. I open the door. I put the garbage can so that the door can't close. Now you hear the outside world. Now you know there are people in the hallway. Your brother is up doing his schoolwork. I've started the coffee. You hear your mother on the phone with work, whatever it might be. So I give you 20 minutes there. Just hearing sights and sounds of a living, breathing world that is actively participating and getting things done. Now, I then casually, at the end of that 20 or 30-minute stretch, walk in and say, hey, buddy, you got to get up here soon. I'm getting ready to head to the office. Your mother's got to do some other things, but I need you to get started on your Chinese. He's learning Chinese. Or I need you to get started on whether it's your science or your math, whatever it might be that I know he has work on, because I can look at the website that they have set up with their school. And I'll say, listen, you're behind 2 lessons in Mrs. So-and-so's class. And I need you to get started on that before I leave, so I know that you've gotten the day started, okay? And he'll acknowledge that he needs to do that, and he understands that. I'm like, what would you like for breakfast? Now I'm cooking you breakfast. So it's not like not for nothing. I'm doing things. I've got you an orange juice. I've got you some raisin bread or some oatmeal, or maybe I made you eggs. All right, now there's food involved to entice you. So now the world is living. You've heard the interactions, and I'm feeding you. And I gave you a very specific reason that I needed you to get up. It's not willy-nilly to make me feel better. You got to get stuff done. It is Tuesday. It's not Saturday. It's Tuesday. Let's get moving in the world. All right, now I circle back. It's now been, from start to finish, an hour since I went into your room. And if you're still not up at that point, things change. Now the tenor of my voice changes, and the directive changes.
So this is a very COVID-specific experience, though? If it were the regular school year,
he'd be up. Oh, yeah, he loves school. He misses school terribly. He'd be up at the exact... he wouldn't be up when I get up, but not long after.
Okay. That's different.
It's a very COVID experience.
Very COVID experience.
It sucks.
My dad would, if he yells up, that's a warning. If you hear his feet on the stairs, oh God, you better get out of bed.
Yeah.
And you better be, close to dressed by the time he gets to the top of them, because you are in a world of pain.
Time's up.
Not literally, just it's going to be a long car ride.
Yeah, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it, because that's what we do to motivate kids. Kids are sloths. Lazy. They won't get out. I was too. He's not different than me. It's just that's part of it. They've been doing it for the ages. Very few self-motivated 12-year-olds. Very few, 10-year-old kids popping out of bed ready to tackle the world.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. It's kind of the prodding that has to happen.
I try to save a few minutes I would take a shower at night before bed, and then I put my uniform on and go to sleep in my uniform.
Trying to get every minute.
Right. Well, my parents, first couple of days, it took like 2 or 3 days for them to figure it out. They say, why is your uniform so wrinkled? Are you not hanging up your clothes? I'm like, no.
I'm sleeping in them.
I didn't admit it. I was like, no, I'm hanging them up. And then, are you sleeping in your uniform?
That's good.
No.
That's rich. I don't know how you did that. I can't. I've always wanted to be butt naked. That's just me. Always wanted to be butt naked.
There's a shirt.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be butt naked.
Just like a parody nudist resort. Jeff Cameron Nudist Resort USA.
I've always wanted to be butt naked. Yeah. Yeah, it's hilarious. As the kids got older, without revealing too much, my wife would be like, you need to have some pants by the bed. I mean, I know you're sleeping naked as you always have, but the kids now, they come in here and jump up on the bed. Let's get it together.
That's not good.
That's not good. Let's get it together.
You want them to have these memories. The answer is no. You want this to be kind of an anonymous period of time in their lives.
Enjoy your evening, everybody. That was fun. Good work out of Utah. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. We'll be with you tomorrow. Take care. Be well.
Hey guys, how are you? This is Eddie from Gordo's Restaurants and Bumpa's Local 349. I just want to let you guys know that we here in the local community love to have you back. It's 25%, we know, but we're doing the best that we can to serve you and do what we do the way we do it. Same great food, a little bit more space. And we're not the only ones. There's lots of local restaurants out there. Just remember, eat local, drink local, be local. Come see us.
Tallahassee's tastiest jumbo wings are back in force. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill is now open daily from 4 to 9 p.m. for all your takeout needs. Enjoy an all-day, everyday special of 10 wings and a basket of fries for just $10. Plus, have the Corner Pocket make you a signature to-go beer or liquor beverage as well. Red Russians, anybody? Just call 574-2724 for your wing order today. That's 574-2724 for the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Or to stop by and order in person, please use the outdoor deck. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One.